We're live. Welcome to another installment of the Final Scoop podcast. It's a new record. 7 seconds into the podcast, we've already completely gone off the rails. There we go. Thank you. Welcome to another installment of the Final Scoop podcast. My name is Robert Schinetsky, engineer. Joining me, as always, is my international band of brothers, Shane Smith, who's extra wide-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning, Stack.com, Lukasz, Rytkowski, Prometeus, Intelligent Sports Technology, Robbie Samborsky, Apollon Nutrition, and returning special guest, the owner, founder, CEO, formulator, Performax Labs, Mr. Aaron West. For all the listeners tuning on the live stream, thank you for joining us. Post up any... Thank you all for joining us. Post up any comments, questions, queries, quips, smart aleck remarks, or cocktails, because it's early enough on a Saturday to start drinking. College football's in full swing, which reminds me, if any of you see me take a shot, it's not because of what we're about to be discussing on this podcast. It's because LSU scores a field goal or a touchdown, and I'm excited. And that's a tradition we have in my household, that we take shots every time we score. So I'll be mixing up that and then having a sip. Anyway, my friends, thank you for joining me. Aaron, thanks for making time to come in on Saturday. I'm glad you had time for this. And everybody else that's got comments, questions, post it up. We'll get into some discussion about the new rebrand that's going on with Performax Labs. And then once we get through that, any other questions you guys have, we'll jump into it. So how do we want to get going? How's the how's the initial reception been, Aaron, from your guys' side of things, whether customer feedback and things like that?
It's been really, really good. It's been surprisingly good. We sold out a hyper in the first 3 days. So luckily we have another batch showing up shortly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, the response has been probably better than even we expected. So pretty darn happy about that.
I saw the response, especially after Ryan reviewed that it was already announced a best pre-workout to 2021. So I guess the hype is real.
Yeah, I saw that whole episode too, which I thought was pretty funny because there's a lot of time spent talking about that, so I appreciate it. And I think I think the last 3 episodes has been a lot about hyper. So,
that's free coverage. You're welcome.
Well, I mean, if you want to change it to the last hyper scoop or the final hyper scoop, we could do that. I think that would be ideal.
Okay, we can do that.
But no, yeah, obviously the intent behind what Ryan did was say it was the best pre-workout he's tried so far. And he actually texted me when that happened and said, there's 2 you need to watch out for, the new Devastate and Core Fury. So there's 2 more that are going to come out that we know from 2 really quality companies. We know Inspired already holds the number 1 spot. We know, I think Core Fury's on your top 5 as well, right, Shane? I think it's number 3 or number 4.
Yep. Yeah.
So there's 2 more opportunities, to from good companies that we know. But yeah, I mean, there's another 3 or 4 months, but yeah, I think obviously there's that, with Robert, there's that misconception that he was saying that it's done, that we just have the best pre-workout of 2021. But obviously that's not the case. It was
shut the year down. Shut the year down.
Okay, so I think that the whole thing was directed at me mostly, so I've been waiting for this, to be honest. Well, number 1, Aaron, you brought up Devastate and Core, 2 companies that clearly paying Ryan to hype up their products. Surprisingly, or maybe even slightly disrespectfully, you kind of... Wait, Robert, can you please not interrupt me? Can you please not interrupt me? I would appreciate it.
I understand that, but
one thing I want to say is... you're jumping... No, we have proof. Relax. Yeah, we do.
All right, that's all I'm trying to say. It's
we do.
I want to make sure we're not slinging accusations.
I would appreciate if you stop acting as an attorney and let me speak. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. But I would appreciate not to get interrupted.
I understand that. I'm just trying to make sure we're not slinging accusations.
No, it's not accusations. It's a fact. Okay. Ryan admitted that he does that. He does content because he gets paid. Yeah. I paid him myself. So let's not jump and try to defend anyone and try to play nice, because as a final scoop, I believe that we always tell the truth. So let's tell the truth. I think it's a little disrespectful on Aaron's behalf to kind of mention only Core and Inspired, surprisingly, 2 companies that also pay for content, just like he did, I'm sure. But I don't know. Did Apollon get lost in a as not a reputable company? Because what about other companies? So it's not two spots. There are multiple spots. It just depends who is the source and who is giving the awards. So let's not get let's not take Fitness Informant and Price Plow as two companies who are giving awards based on actually best pre-workouts. Now, about the misconception, that's another point. There was no misconception. It actually says right on Ryan's page, best pre-workout on 2021. And it's not us who actually brought it up, but one of the listeners who asked the question about it. And it was a rightful question to ask, because when it says best pre-workout of 2021, rightfully in September, somebody would raise the question, well, how come? And nobody says that your pre-workout is not good. In fact, many times in the last 3 episodes, I think you did get a lot of publicity, which is fine because you have a great pre-workout. Nobody has ever said that you don't have a good pre-workout. Nobody pointed out to that. I mean, I saw a post yesterday by Bruce Neller where he basically specifies that Palm 3D is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And he's basically saying if there are certain people who think that it's nothing special, I'm pretty sure it was directed at me or it was directed at one of us. But the truth is, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but behind the scenes, and obviously, we all in the same community, we all in the same industry, I've heard from multiple people who said exactly the same thing about the ingredient. Exactly the same thing. But nobody has the balls to say and call it for what it is. Is it a good ingredient? Nobody disputed that. In fact, I remember Lukasz said that it's great. I said myself, yes, it's a good ingredient. I mean, you have ingredients that definitely work. But to say that this is a game-changing ingredient or something of caliber of nitrates, of ASO6, or the new Cellflow, or VasoDrive, it's not. So let's not kid ourselves. It's a great trademark. It looks very, very nice and flashy on any of the labels. It does work. In fact, I commend you on that, and I give you mad props for including extra 3 grams of citrulline. I think that's a phenomenal job on your part, and I voiced that opinion as well last week. So I don't know where this came from that anyone is criticizing the pre-workout or is against it or anything like that. I think it's a great pre-workout. I think you've done a phenomenal job. But the truth is sometimes criticism is not necessarily a bad thing. I think you can criticize any product and you can find something wrong with any of the products. I remember when Price Plow came and they did a thing on my Hooligan, I believe, which was about 3-4 years ago. They said that tyrosine was 750 milligram and it's a little low for their liking. I never once complained. What I did was in the next formula, I reformulated and I made 1500. When people said that Assassin tastes like ass, I never argued once. You know why? Because it did taste like ass. And when somebody actually recently commented that Assassin tastes 10 out of 10, that it's phenomenal tasting, great tasting pre-workout, I was the first one to say, okay, let's slow down, because it's not. It's better, it improved, but it's not. If the previous one was maybe 2 out of 10, then this one at best is 6 or 7 out of 10. So Ryan is trying to cover his tracks, which is fine by me, and maybe he was misunderstood. But it wasn't me. It was multiple people who actually saw it for what it is. They saw it that it was announced as the best pre-workout of the year. Later on, Gerhard got in touch with me and Ryan got in touch with me. And I told Ryan, I mean, if it's something, because why? I believe that if it's not true, nobody's gonna dispute anything. But Ryan actually got in touch with me and I said, you know what? If that's what you meant, I'll be the first one to apologize on air live on Saturday and say that I misunderstood you. And you know what? You actually meant that best pre-workout so far. And it's a great label. There is no doubt about it. It's a great, I think it's an improvement on many aspects. But nobody said anything negative about the pre-workout that, everybody who was involved decided, that it's anyone needs to explain it or anything like that. And I don't know, Robert, to be honest with you, for the past 3 days, you've been acting as an attorney, and I don't get why. As if somebody is attacking. You've never done this with no pre-workout, with no product. But for some reason, you're defending as if somebody is attacking. You're defending Ryan, and you were one actually of one who was criticizing the channel as well. Let's be honest about it. You want proof? I'll give you proof. It's on his fucking page. It's on. Ryan admitted it himself that he does content because he gets paid. And I actually said many times that there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. He should make a living. I said last week that I just paid Shane to be advertised on his page, and there is nothing wrong with that either. So I don't know, like, why you're deciding to jump and defend everybody as if I'm accusing anyone of anyone. I'm not accusing somebody of something that I'm not even going to say guilty. It's a fact. He gets paid. And there is nothing wrong with it. And if it was misunderstanding or misconception or whatever, just come out and say it, which he did. He did say it to me. So you know what? I'll apologize to Ryan. I'll apologize to Aaron. I will have absolutely no problem whatsoever if I'm wrong. But everybody, not just me, everybody saw exactly what it stated. And it was a little bit premature. And even if, you know what, if Hypermax gets best pre-workout of the year by Ryan, let's face it, it's not exactly the most reputable channel to get an award by. But even if so, it just would look a lot cooler if it was in December and January. So I don't think I said anything wrong. And, you know, I don't think that I should have been attacked or anything like that. But I'm very good at defending myself, because if it wasn't the case, I would never state that.
Yeah, so Lukasz just said, congratulations on getting best pre-workout of 2021 on Fitness Informant. So all I'm trying to do is explain that it's the best pre-workout thus far. So, I mean, technically, yeah, it is the best pre-workout of 2021 up until today. But, you know, it's very clear. And I think you mentioned the pre-workouts that I brought up and leaving Apollon out of it. Those weren't my words. I was just quoting what Ryan said. So I said, Ryan told me these are the, two you need to watch out for. Why Ryan left you off the list, I don't know. But
no, hold on, Aaron. But everyone
let you finish. Everyone let you finish.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you 100%. But you and I both know why he said that, right?
I mean, I can say that Legend V2 is on, or Devastate's on Ryan's top list, and Core's on, Shane's top list, and Core's on Shane's top list. So both those products are top rated, not just by Fitness Informant, but also by Shane, which I think we know Shane is pretty stand-up guy. I don't think anybody's paying Shane to get on that list. So
I'm paying Shane.
Oh no! The reason why I didn't mention Shane. The reason why I didn't mention Shane, because Shane last year, and again, I didn't pay him anything. He did include Apollon. I believe we were top 2 or top 3 or something like that. So I have nothing to say about Shane. Yeah, I wouldn't mention Shane ever, because, like I said, I've never paid him. But at least his awards are true to as far as I know. He's doing it the honest way. He's getting paid, but in a different way. So I'm not going to even mention Shane. Mm-hmm. But to say that something is on top of Ryan's list, top 3 or top 10 or Price Plow, you and I and everybody sitting here, we all know the truth. I mean, so why would we hide it? I don't think, if you have to pay a dime to say that you have the best product, I don't think just like, it automatically kind of like, it puts a bad kind of shadow, I think, on a brand and a product. I don't give a shit. Like, if I have to pay for somebody to say that I have the best brand, then what's the point of putting fully dosed ingredients, going out of your way? It would be cheaper to pay somebody to say, oh, this is the best brand of the year. It would be a lot cheaper, because the ingredients are not cheap. You have a fully dosed product. You have a fully transparent product, and you don't have a cheap product. Your product is actually a solid product. So you know what? You can come up with garbage and just pay somebody to say that it's great. And we've seen that before. We've seen that many, many times. So, like, why should we omit the truth and pretend that it doesn't exist within the industry? Because it does.
Yeah, no, I think first of all, this went off the rails pretty quick. I was just responding to what Lukasz said. That I got top pre-workout of 2021, and I was trying to set the record straight that that's not what Ryan said or his intentions, and it was misunderstood.
Lucas's fault.
That's what Ryan said, but perhaps that was not his intention.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know how you want to interpret it, but the way the conversation started was Lukasz congratulating me for getting best workout of 2021, and then me bringing up the fact that it's not like it was misunderstood, that there's still more people that could get that, and that was like I showed you that text message. That was the first thing Ryan said to me. Like, you have the best pre-workout thus far, but watch out, there's 2 more coming. So to say that we have it is not like I said, sounds like a pretty big misunderstanding, because we definitely aren't awarded top pre-workout of 2021 because 2021 is not over. There's more products to come, like we mentioned, Devastate, Core, and other products too. And maybe one of those get that on Ryan's list. But I mean, none of these lists mean like the amount of effort and emotion going into these lists is pretty over the top. You know,
I couldn't agree with you more. I think you're right on the money, and I think you're right. And like I said, I actually want to, more than anything, to set the record straight, is that I don't have anything against your pre-workout or anything like that. We just, the way it was interpreted, not even interpreted, the way Ryan said, maybe that was not his intention. But the bottom line is that's the way it came out. And it wasn't like, you know, just like Lukasz started the podcast fucking all over the place. It wasn't us who brought it up last week. It was a question from one of the guys who was, you know, watching the show, and he asked and we just responded, and that's all it was. But I think it was just blown out of proportion, and nobody has ever criticized, at least not here, your pre-workout or anything like that, because it's solid. I'm pretty sure it does very well because it's a good product, and that's about it. But in terms of Ryan, I think Ryan just needs to be a little bit more careful, and I have good relationship with Ryan. At least I think so. Like, at least it's somewhat friendly or neutral. But the thing is that Ryan needs to be a little bit more careful how he's perhaps wording things, because that's the way it came out. And literally a few days later, we saw it where Ryan started criticizing brands for using, sort of like ripping off popular brands when it comes to flavoring. And it also, he got attacked, because some of the companies that he promotes, so to speak, or does content for, do exactly the same. They're ripping off, you know, names of popular brands, I don't know, candy brands or whatever, without, you know, doing collaboration like Ghost did or anything like that. And Ryan got caught for being a hypocrite. And you know what? Perhaps, again, he was misunderstood. I'll give him that, because we actually talked about it after all, and we laughed. I just think that, you know what, it's you know, when it comes to social media, we have to be very, very careful how we choose our words, because it can backfire. It can backfire. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about myself as well. You know, every time I post something like you do, which is fine, you know, that I have the best pre-workout or you have the best pre-workout, I think you should be proud of your product, because you put a lot into it. I mean, we both know how much goes into making the formula, flavoring, etc., the expenses. I mean, it's tough. So I think that the fact that somebody like you or me or anyone else is proud of their brand or proud of their product, I think it's absolutely phenomenal, and that's exactly the way it should be. But for me personally, if I'm going to say that I have the best pre-workout on the market, I'm not saying an award. I don't want an award for pre-workout. That's the last thing I want, because I don't think that I have the best pre-workout on the market. It's just the fact. My pre-workouts are different, just like yours are. We all cater to different, to different markets. So one is not better than the other one. Each and every one has its own market, has its own customer. So to say and generalize it that that's the best on the market, it's the same as saying something is the best tasting protein on the market, where we know that taste is very, very subjective. And, you know, I said it multiple times. Brand of the year, I can see a point in that. New brand of the year, I can definitely see a point in that. Everything else is very, very subjective. And, you know, I've seen people that say that my pre-workout, they can't even feel it because it's not strong enough. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, is that for real? But it does happen from time to time. Those things are normal. And I just, like I said, I want to emphasize again that I think you have a great pre-workout, and congratulations on the release. And I'm glad you're doing good, because you deserve it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So once again, congrats.
Thank you, Lukasz. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, Robbie, it seems like I'm towing the line on all this, it's because I want to make sure when we say something on the podcast, we actually can verify it for a fact. I don't want us talking out of our asses about something like that. It's not that this is relegated to Aaron or anything else. Like if we say, hey, this brand's got a working relationship with XYZ company, I want to make sure we don't look like the assholes that are just slinging out wild accusations or stuff. So that's why I always say that's why I'm saying
let me ask you a fair question. Do you think I look like a jackass by saying that?
I want to make sure we always have our bases covered.
We do. It was admitted by the source.
I guess from my perspective, the only kind of issue that I had is that it's insinuated that we're paying to be put in a certain spot, and that's not what we're paying for. I mean, if that was the case, I'm pretty sure Ghost would win every single time because they could pay a shit ton more than I could ever afford. So I don't think that insinuating that I think that's the issue is insinuating that we're paying to be put in a certain spot. I pay Shane. Shane doesn't put me in a spot because I pay him. It's advertising at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Shane has advertising spots. Fitness Informant has advertising spots. So do we pay Fitness Informant? Yeah, we pay him to advertise our product, just like tons of other companies do. Just like tons of companies pay Shane. Just like tons of companies pay PricePlow. Just like I'm sure TJ gets paid. So the thing is that, hopefully these people, at least from my perspective, who I'm dealing with, have enough integrity to not be putting products in certain places for advertising dollars. And I guess was my kind of only hole I could poke in the argument, is kind of like insinuating that somehow we paid for the spot, which we definitely didn't. And, you can cross-reference that with the fact that Shane puts it in the number 2 spot. So clearly it's a really fucking good pre-workout. Everyone loves it. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's shit pre-workout and we paid and we just squeaked into that number 1 spot because of dollars. We're there because we deserve to be there.
Oh, 100%. It goes without saying. But you know what? At the end of the day, and that's not my point, Shane gets paid for advertising on his page. And that's fine. That's how he makes his living. But you and I, since we are paying for advertising on different platforms and whatnot, you and I both know that neither you or I paid Shane to be announced as best this or best that, because we know he doesn't do it that way. So we can actually, if somebody would accuse Shane, say for example, of taking money to award certain awards, you and I could easily defend him. Easily, because we know it's not true. It's not true.
Just like I can defend Ryan. I can defend Ryan.
Well, that's not exactly the case. That's not exactly the case. From your perspective, that you're paying for content, that's fine. Again, I repeat, I paid for content. Mm-hmm. But we know very, very well that Ryan, and especially PricePlow, they getting paid. I mean, look, perfect example. You know what? Let's leave Ryan out of this. Let's take PricePlow, for example. 2 or 3 years ago, best brand of the year, best new brand of the year was MFit. That was the best new brand of the year. How long did that brand last? That brand lasted exactly 1 year. And how many times did we see from PricePlow, since they were mentioned? How many times did we see from PricePlow, for example, a product like Nutrex that's going to be a proprietary blend with 1 pill that you would never do because you have integrity and class not to do something like that, and all of a sudden they will still find a way to promote it and say that it's a good product. You've seen it. I'm not making this up. You can easily go and see it. So you want to tell me that somebody's going to announce Nutrex with 1 pill proprietary blend that doesn't do shit? They're going to announce it and say, well, this is the best on the market, or this is a great product or something like that. But we've seen it. I'll give you another example. Just a few months ago, I released Shogun. Shogun is a fat burner that is, all it takes is just to look at the profile and you will see what's up. There is nothing stronger than that. I'm not taking pride in it or anything like that. It's just the way it was designed. It's the strongest there is, period. You know what? At the same time, Raw came out with a very, very similar fat burner. The entire world, everybody who tried Shogun was like, holy shit, this is strong. Holy shit, you only take like half a serving and it's enough. And in fact, I think half a serving was more than Raw. Well, guess what? PricePlow, very well known, they knew very well, Robert, I'm not making this up, so this can be verified. They knew about Shogun because, everybody knew about Shogun. they putting that the strongest hardcore fat burner on the market is a raw fat burner. So you want to tell, what's the difference between Shogun and raw? Besides the fact that Shogun is a lot stronger, I didn't say better, I said stronger. What's the difference? The difference is only that raw did pay and I didn't pay. So you want to tell me that this is fair? You want to tell me, and again, I don't mind. Come out and say, you know what, we got paid money for this to say that this is the strongest on the market or whatnot. But we know about this. We know about this. We know about them like saying things that are absolutely not true or not accurate. And that's the only reason. I'm not like right now trying to make Shane look good just because I do consider him a friend and he is a co-host here. But I don't think.
Woke up early.
I just
I
don't
haven't
think,
got any comments about my hair today, and no one's said anything about my voice. So I do think I look better than usual.
It looks nice.
Yeah, you should wake up a lot earlier every day. Every Saturday. But the truth is that Shane, I think, is different, a lot different than those. I don't think they do the same content or provide the same service. Just like, for example, if you did not pay, and this is not an accusation at all. This is advertising. You did whatever you think is best for your brand. But if you didn't pay for content, say to Price Plow, do you think anyone would announce that your product even came out? I mean, be honest. Because, do you think they would announce that your product came out? That your product was released? Price Plow, they would not announce that.
Probably not.
Not probably, definitely. I release products right now probably every 2 or 3 weeks. And I do make a lot of noise. And so do you, because you have a phenomenal line. I don't want you to think that I'm comparing or trying to say that I'm better than you. I would never do that. I just think that if they didn't get paid, but if you go on Stacked, you will see that fucking brands that I've never even heard of are announced on a daily basis. Every few hours, or I don't know, every few minutes, there is an announcement of a new brand. They clearly don't pay, but they're in the news. And you know what? Also, they supplement facts. If they allow Shane to reveal their supplement facts, are also in the news. So a consumer can see that, okay, wow, this company came out, phenomenal. Like just now, he posted something, I think, about protein bars from Dorian Yates, I believe. I mean, I don't think that Dorian paid him, but I didn't even know that Dorian is coming out with a bar. But now if I was a fan, or I was in the market, or I wanted a bar, now I know. So there is a huge difference between these platforms that I don't think we... So if somebody, if tomorrow an award comes out and says, Hypermax or your company as a whole, Performax, is a brand of the year announced by Ryan, who gets paid for content, or announced by Price Plow, or announced by Shane, who do you think is going to have more credibility? Who do you think people are going to say? I'm not going to accuse you or say anything. I'm going to probably think about it. But how many people is going to say, okay, Aaron paid Price Plow or Ryan? It's not going to come from me. But if Shane's going to announce you, nobody's even going to blink. Because it's going to look legitimate. It's going to look earned. It looks like, I know he goes through the whole process of how he decides who is the brand of the year or not. So we can't really compare them. And I personally think if tomorrow you win, I will be the first one to see you and shake your hand. But if it's going to be through Price Plow or it's going to be through Ryan, I'm sorry, you know what? Even if it's legit, there's still going to cross my mind that it's possibly not. And, you can't really blame me based on information that we do know. But if it's going to be from Shane, I'll be the first one to send you a message and say, Aaron, congratulations, your brand kicks ass. It's just, you know what? We all know about these things, but nobody talks about it. It's almost like a taboo, or we pretend like it doesn't exist, but it does exist. It probably exists in every industry, and that's fine too. But you know what? But by now, even people who are watching the Final Scoop, and a lot of people in the know, they know exactly what's up. They know what's going on. And I think that's, it's not wrong, for us to talk about this or discuss it. It's just, I think that the brand can get a lot more relevance when it's, if you're going to pay somebody content, like I'm not very good at describing each and every ingredient. And English is my second language as well. So I'll go to somebody like Robert. I will gladly pay him and like, Robert, can you break down the ingredients and what they do and whatnot? Is that wrong? I don't think it's wrong. I think it's good. Somebody who is very knowledgeable, people respect him. He's going to do it for me. And yes, he will get paid for it. But if I'm going to go and I'm going to be paying him constantly, I'm going to say, and then he's going to announce me as the best brand of the year, it's going to look a little bit suspicious. Those are just facts. I'm not making this up. It's not even a matter of opinion. We all know it's the truth. It's just maybe because I'm a little bit more, outspoken when it comes to it. Maybe that it comes a little bit like an attack, but by all means, it's not.
That's why I don't put out a top 10 list. Can avoid not active on social media. Don't have a top 10 list. That's how you avoid all these issues.
Can we discuss increasing your retainer fee?
Sure, we can do that.
Maybe that's going to help.
Let's do that. Yeah, we can increase the retainer fee. Though I got to put the advertising bill in the mail first for all the airtime that Aaron's hogged up on the podcast the last 3 weeks. You said, I don't know if you want to get into this, Aaron. You said you sold out of the product, and we know that brands can run different amounts of product. Do you want to say how many units you've already done and how many you reordered, or would you rather not say that?
I probably won't want to say that.
Okay. So just to give perspective to the...
I don't know. I know of a few brands, but like most of those ones that sell out pretty quick always like to keep the numbers like...
Hush.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. This is just to give the listeners perspective on the volumes of stuff that companies order.
Yeah, can you say
if we're close, if we're hot or cold? Is it less than 100,000? Okay, is it more than 1,000?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so look at that. It's thousands.
Thousands of units sold.
Can you say 1,000 per flavor?
Mm-hmm.
You're very crafty at this, Shane. You're very crafty.
We are getting somewhere. Okay.
That's as far as we got. You got somewhere.
Brooke,
you can say he sold several thousand into the five figures.
There you go. You got a story, man.
That's ridiculous.
Can you do the sound thing now?
No.
No.
Oh man, that was deserving.
Yeah, that was so.
My bad, bro.
He could have sold 999,000 units for all we know.
Exactly. Oh, Brooke, you can only reach as far as your consumer base. That is why promotion can be so important. 7 degrees of some Kevin Bacon. Agreed.
Yeah.
Subs on deck. Don't worry, I got 2 other pump ingredients. 2 other pump ingredients. Don't worry, I got 2 other pump ingredients.
Took a while, but we got there. I don't
Am
know
I
what
missing
he's talking
something?
about. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, Subs, can you reiterate your comment? Maybe. Alex, hey gang. Aaron, congratulations with the success. Can't wait for Performax to land in Canada. When is the Canadian landing?
It's tough. So you have to go through your whole MPN process. So you have to register the product with Health Canada. It's about a 7-month process. You get, IRNs, basically requests for, information. You have to go back and forth with them, like weird stuff. Like, is your silicon dioxide natural from horsetail or is it, synthetic? And it's completely down to the smallest little thing.
Is that where they get silicon dioxide from? I had no idea.
I think that's a natural source. So, So it's about a 7-month process. I would say we're going to probably have our MPNs awarded to us in about, hopefully around 2 or 3 months. We actually got an IRN for the combination of T-creen, dynamine, and caffeine, and they pushed back on that, and they said that you can't have that those 3 in tandem, and we don't see it as safe. So we are actually able to provide a rationale and a little bit of data, and we were actually able to get that approved. So they responded and said, "Yep, okay, we agree. You can go ahead and pass that through." So it is quite a process, but we should be in. We have a distributor already lined up, just waiting for these MPNs. And once we get those MPNs, then we'll be in Canada. Canada's a big market, by the way. It's a huge market.
Did y'all have to make any tweaks to the formula, or is everything that's in there is still allowed in the across the
No,
border?
there's definitely some tweaks.
Okay.
I was gonna say because Yohimbe's not.
Yeah, Yohimbe's one of
Not
them.
there.
There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of hoops you have to jump through. Can't have more than 200 milligrams of caffeine per serving. There's a bunch of stuff. So Velocitol, because of the chromium, we had to drop to a gram instead of the full 2 grams. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of hoops to jump through, but it's a worthy market to be in, and you can kind of work around some of those issues and kind of make it work. So
Yeah.
Aaron, I have a question because, like, for example, every country has different regulations, right? And I know that we encounter that right now. And it's like, so for example, you have a pretty solid pre-workout, it's well dosed in terms of like it, caffeine is high and you have area durensis and whatnot. So, I mean, it obviously has that feel to it. Now, when you go to other countries, and say, for example, somebody tried your original pre-workout, but you're forced to kind of water it down because of regulations and stuff like that, do you get complaints? Like,
we haven't
had that.
Yeah, we haven't really had to water things down too much. I would say the biggest one is like the removal of agmatine or potentially yohimbine. But even with yohimbine, we had a kind of a worthy replacement. And so, I mean, I don't think they're happy. I think most people go, hey, I want the U.S. version. But we haven't really had too many complaints in regards to that.
Yeah, because we are right now bringing Hooligan to Russia, and they very, very, very strict. So we did it the legal way, but obviously, people can get the original stuff, and they already tried it, so they like, oh, this kicks ass. And I looked at the formula that we are forced to do, for the Russian version, because they're so strict. Also, 200 milligram of caffeine. I mean, citrulline, you only allowed, I think, like a gram, which is a joke. So
that's actually, it's so, not to cut you off, but it's so funny because that's actually how it is in Australia. If the TGA would actually enforce it, there's crazy restrictions. Like a gram of citrulline is the max you can have per serving. They base the amount of caffeine that you can have on the milliliters of water suggested to mix with it. So there's just a ton of weird regulations. Yeah.
Yeah, shit like that just makes me very uncomfortable because I'm fully expecting, like, for example, like since I brought Russia as an example, we've been sending a lot of product to Russia, they're distributing it, let's call it for what it is, illegally. But, obviously there are a lot of people who are familiar with the product. So now I'm thinking, okay, this is going to go there. And I looked at the formula. I'm like, shit, this is C4. I mean, that's all it is. It's basically C4. So when people are going to receive it, and it's not going to be cheap because, obviously, the money that it costs to bring it over there and everything else, people are going to go like, okay, so what was the hype about this? This is shit. And so I do expect something like that, and it worries me a bit. So that's the reason why I wanted to ask you, like, if you run into it, like you have 400 milligram of caffeine now, in Canada, you'll be able to do only 200. There is a huge difference, but I'm pretty sure some Canadians already experience the real deal.
Yeah. And so, like, for example, like that, the directions just basically have to say take 1 scoop, but there'll still be 40 scoops in there. Now, will they decide to take 2 scoops? I don't know. The directions will only say 1, but they definitely have that option to take 2 scoops. And if they see the counterpart in America that says 1 or 2 scoops, they'll probably figure it out.
Okay.
This is exactly what Cellucor did with their Dynasty C4 at the Australia market. They also did 1-2 scoop channel posted this week. The info about that.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty smart move from their side as well.
15
exactly.
servings they dropped it to though.
Yeah, 15 servings.
Is that
But
the
you
$80 pre-workout?
Yeah, but you got the original Dynasty C4, but at the same time to get the full, the 6.4 grams of beta alanine and other, goodies. You need to take 2 scoops, instead of
They dropped
one,
a few things.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did just adjust the price because in Australia and New Zealand, $80 pre-workout, probably like $3,000 or some shit. I don't know. It's like our currency sucks balls, but they adjusted the price down, so it's like 7 in New Zealand, which I think is only 50 US. So it's like they didn't chop it down and keep it the same price. They kept it at a justified level.
Paul, have you guys ever checked out ET Labs? So extraterrestrial labs. I tried looking them up just now, Paul. I've never heard of them. Have any of the four of you heard of ET Labs?
It's with UFO.
Yeah. So I've pulled it up, and then I've looked on 3 different retailer sites, and none of them list the actual supplement facts. So I have no idea what the fuck are in these pills.
Please don't.
Oh, that's a pretty cool logo, though.
Yeah, so we got Xenomorph and Awaken.
I feel like I've seen Awaken before.
But, I mean, it doesn't tell you anything. You get very generic product copy here. Thanks for that.
I like how they've...
Wait. Was the price $89?
Yes.
Fuck.
60 caps, though, Robbie.
Click,
I mean,
click.
Damn.
Maybe there's something on the front of the label. Can you zoom in? Is there anything?
I believe they got the their site also listed on Facebook, so you can try to check them out down there.
I like how they've kept the name consistent, like with the products, like Abduction, Xenomorph, Awaken.
I just see Awaken. Is there...
I'm just looking on Google, which there is jack shit to choose from, but...
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of those things, right? Like, when you see stuff at the mall and it's behind the glass case,
Yeah.
it's just too premium to see what's in it.
Okay,
But
here we go.
it's like good shit. Maybe that's what this is, and they're just
Alright,
not
this
showing
is
you anything.
Abduction.
Just like the old times.
Oh, we're gonna get... Oh, here we go.
Caffeine, methylphenephrine, which is not a dietary supplement. Paracenephrine is, what P-synephrine is. Methylphenephrine does not belong in there at all.
Shots.
You all
Robert.
heard that?
You need to drink.
You're trying to skip out.
Did we score? Oh shit! It's a commercial. Okay.
Bro, after the podcast, you will be fucked.
This is my 4th shot today. But I mean, come on.
That's how you say
It's-
protein.
This is it's 60 proof vodka, and it's a half and half mixture of whipped cream vodka and root beer. It tastes like a root beer float. We started this like 12 years ago, so this isn't something new.
You should just have a scoop of Hypermax every time they score. That would be so much more fun.
All right, there we go. All right. Anyway, Naringin, sure, you get some citrus polyphenols from that. That's not going to do a whole hell of a lot. There's some belief that it maybe increases the activity of caffeine or the half-life of it, the potency, but then you actually look at the studies and it doesn't support that. Grains of Paradise, again, way underdosed and given us the generic form. Yohimbine and some thyroid hormone stuff, precursors. What are your thoughts? That's something we've never covered before. And I know fat burners have used them over the years, the different T3 metabolites. I worry about taking too much of that can actually cause hypertrophy of certain organs, which is not good. I'm not talking like skeletal muscle. I'm talking like heart, liver, those kind of things. And cardiac enlargement of those things can cause suppression and fuck up your thyroid. So what do you guys think?
I remember using it in back when Bruce Nello was with Giant. He had, I believe it was called Thyroid Twin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're
It
basically,
was just that, yeah. They're badass.
It's basically T2 is what it is. They're T2 metabolites, and the 3.5 can be very, very suppressive, but the 3.3 is not nearly suppressive to the function of the thyroid. And so generally what they recommend is a combination of some level of 3.3 and some level of 3.5 of the T2. And so you don't really see that now. You see a lot of people just going with the 3.5 T2 just because it's a lot cheaper. But that's the one where you might want to be a little bit more hesitant with, because you do actually get a little bit of thyroid suppression on that one.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what Aaron said. But the thing is like, this is the reason, because it's funny, because I was just asked that question, why we don't use T2 with our fat burners. That's the exact reason what Aaron just described why I wouldn't use it, because on paper, I mean, let's face it, bodybuilders use T3, which is the real deal, but they typically use it for a certain period of time. I've used it myself. It does, of course, promote incredible fat loss, absolutely incredible. It's also very catabolic, so it's going to eat away not only your fat, but it will also eat away your muscles. That's the reason why it's advised typically to use it with something that will retain muscle, something anabolic like testosterone or something like that. Nevertheless, even though it's very, very powerful, there is still potential, to fuck up your thyroid. It is there. It's possible. So with T2, what I saw is that it can suppress your thyroid hormone, just like T3. It has that possibility. In terms of fat loss, it's nowhere near T3. I mean, it's not even close. It's actually kind of questionable, even if it works to a certain extent. So I just feel like, it looks very, very cool on label because a lot of people are familiar with T3. I just don't think that it's worth the risk, in my opinion. I don't think that the reward is there.
Yeah, I've just always steered away from them. There were some old iForce, I think.
TT3.
Yeah, there's some old iForce products I have in the cabinet that I never used before.
Yeah, they did that combination. I think it was like a 3 to 1 combination of 3.3 to 3.5, and that maximized the most amount of circulating T3 without causing too much suppression.
Yeah. Back to ET Labs, the Awaken. I still haven't found an ingredient profile of this bitch. So if product labels are that hard to find, and it's a company I don't know, I don't really trust them. That's me personally. I don't trust them. I mean, plus they're really using choline citrate. Yeah, we don't know nephorestatam, siniferam aren't really dietary supplements. Shouldn't probably be in there. I like the ingredients, but I wouldn't. They're not supposed to be in a dietary supplement. They're for research purposes only.
They got amp citrate. Whoa.
They do. What they're calling amp citrate. I also wonder if they mean DM.
Hell yeah.
Or DMHA maybe, or something else, or they just messed up the acronym for like DMAE.
They wouldn't get a spelling mistake. Okay, Robert, don't be mean.
This is a whole bunch of stems with not an actual bunch of nootropics. I don't know.
Yeah, and most likely prop blend.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's that strong. You don't need to know the dosages.
You don't need to know. It's better. Trust us, but you don't need to know. It's one of those kind of things.
To be honest,
proprietary blend, no fun.
If you got a pre-workout that had no facts panel on it, would you still try it if they told you it was good? I probably would.
Rage as fuck pre-workout. All right, let's see
so
this.
so they do have the.
Okay. 1,3. They have allegedly amp citrate in there. The 1,3-dimethyl-butylamine. It's the DMBA. Plus DMH. So do you got amp citrate and DMHA in there, plus new pep and yohimbine?
Tell you what.
Damn.
I'll try that.
Fucking crazy, Shane.
What do you mean? It doesn't look that bad, except for I don't know if the DMHA and AMP are gonna feel as good as they are, but
if we're going out, I'm with Shane.
Yeah, and to be honest, I appreciate half the honesty of the transparency. Look, the first half of the label is transparent.
Yeah.
Well, the second one has caffeine 400, so.
Yeah, nope, so that's a new kind of caffeine too. It's caffeine anhydrous, not anhydrous.
Oh shit!
Okay.
You still want to go back to
my statement of DMBA. Maybe there's no
caffeine anhydrous.
It's a new form of caffeine.
No, maybe they were too used to writing DMBA, so they've obviously put a B in anhydrous, and it's confusing.
There you go. Yeah, how many other typos and incorrect things can we find on this label?
Not gonna lie, I'd still try it.
I'll watch you take a scoop first, and then I'll try a scoop. Let's make that deal.
What's the flavor?
Who cares?
Alien piss.
Yeah, Alien.
Ah,
Really?
just for funsies. Just wanna.
Shake well before using extreme terrestrial. Probably
berry,
something gummy
gummy
bears.
bear.
Some kind of gummy
Gummy
bear
bear.
thing.
On the topic
Cosmic
of
gum.
flavor, did anybody see the new Bang?
The chocolate,
Yeah.
carbonated chocolate.
Am I the only one who's kind of like carbonated chocolate? Like,
Is it carbonated?
I don't
it is
understand.
carbo-
You know
I mean,
what?
it's
I
a,
don't
it's a
understand.
canned energy. It'd be even
I don't-
weirder if you cracked open a can and it wasn't carbonated. And it was
Well,
just
you know,
chocolate.
like those Starbucks makes like an energy drink now, and the base is like coffee, and then it has like guarana and some other stuff, and
I
it's
feel
not
like-
carbonated.
I feel
Yeah,
like
but-
if every single beverage Bang is done is carbonated, and they don't put that it's not carbonated on this. Oh no, wait, it is carbonated because it's on the. I believe it says carbonated water on the first ingredient.
Got it.
I remember I double checked this because I was like,
Do you have the facts
it?
panel? Or it says, you
I
know, you can just order
saw
from
it
Bang
on-
Energy.
I thought I saw it online.
Well,
somewhere.
what's up with this graphic? Like, you know, lollipops and fucking mushrooms. I don't
Because it's
understand.
Willy Wonka. It's Willy Wonka. It's stuff
Yeah,
that you Polish people don't understand.
Yeah, bro, what the fuck? You're
Yeah, but
Polish.
there you go. See, there you go at the bottom. Carbonated water.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
More to the point,
Oh, and super creatine.
it's not just me, is it? It is weird. Like chocolate energy drink, it's pretty funky.
It is, but I'd be up to try it. I'd try this before I'm going to try that alien stuff. I have no idea
Oh
what's
hell
in
no!
that alien
What's
stuff.
wrong with you?
You lost
What's
me right
wrong
now.
with you? I would throw that alien stuff down for no. I mean, you know what? I might actually have a sip of this after the alien
There you
thing.
go.
Post workout for that super creatine.
But this is I don't know. I just didn't. I was like, is this an American thing? Is this something you guys like fizzy chocolate? It just
I've never
didn't
had fizzy
sound-
chocolate before. So.
Fat bastards.
Shane, I still think I have a feeling this is gonna taste better than Zaw.
Oh,
Oh
I
no,
don't think that's-
probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Though to be fair, Bang's had some misfires. Like I thought the icing or the cupcake one flavor, whatever that was, birthday cake flavor
See,
was gross.
there's-
Miami Cola
there's-
was disgusting, and the root beer was gross. All of those I did not
That's
like.
the thing though, is that some of the misses, it's usually like a split thing, because I
Yeah.
like the birthday cake bash. As weird as it was, I liked it,
Yeah.
but then I don't like some of the popular ones. Like, it's a hit and
Lemonheads
miss.
or Star Basil, Razzle, Star Basil.
I never
whatever it's
liked
called.
much of the originals, but
Yeah.
the thing is when because I heard that it was going to be chocolate flavored, like the day before, someone said, I think it might be chocolate flavored. If you Google this name, don't blame me for the results, because a
This?
whole lot of chocolate. I didn't know there was an A at the end. Okay, I googled whole lot of chocolate. If you Google Bang and whole lot of chocolate,
I'm not doing that.
You know what I find interesting? Can you go back to the photo, Robert, please?
Yeah, sure.
So
Wait,
this
or
is
you want-
maybe it's just me, but doesn't it look? No, the photo of the can. Doesn't it look like around the B? It's not chocolate, but diarrhea.
I mean it's brown swirls. You know,
Yeah, could be.
It's only one time in your life you see a brown swirl.
Shane, you know how we were talking a couple weeks back? Where Sandy sent you that video, and you said, "I don't know if we're there yet to where I should send you a video of the poop."
Oh yeah.
I almost sent you a picture the other night after the halfling ditch because she doesn't eat many fruits or vegetables, and she seems to pop things out just fine.
What are you
It
talking
says-
about? It wasn't me that was trying to disprove what you. I said that you don't need to eat fruit and vegetables to
Oh, I
a
know.
healthy shit, and I was gonna show you that I can.
No, I'm just gonna try to beat you to the punch and say, "All right, here I'll cross the line for all of us."
I don't want to see a underage shit.
Oh my gosh.
Does that classify? Is that? Never mind. I'm not even gonna say those words because that'll get us banned from YouTube real quick. I was gonna say, does that count as underage?
It's
Impropriety?
A grown man's shit is much more sensible. Okay.
You know, Robert, you said that Bang had few misfires, and I totally agree. But you know what? They have so many fucking flavors. They have so many things. So, obviously they're going to have a few misfires, and, it's so subjective and stuff. But you know what? What I find very, very interesting is when it comes to Zoa, everybody I know, like specifically everybody I know, 100%, nobody liked the flavor. Then you go online and everybody loves it.
Robert, change your search to whole lot of chocolate. Make sure you spell it correctly.
I'm going to let you do that, and then you can share your screen.
It won't be the weirdest thing you've Googled. It's fine. Just type it in.
What are we doing here?
No, a whole lot of chocolate, but with an E. Make sure you spell the whole lot of.
That's what I did.
The T-O, the T-A.
Jesus Christ.
And get rid of the of. And then add a bang to it. You forgot the bang, but
you want it in the front or the back?
That's what the search results tell you. That's what I'm saying.
So that?
Yeah. Because before Stacked was up there, before Stacked was there with that result, and I even looked on Instagram, the hashtag whole lot of chocolate also does not relate to the Bang energy drink. Maybe my results were showing me more of what I usually look for. I don't know. But I just got porn. A specific shade. And I didn't know that because of the tag the hashtag whole lot of chocolate.
Yeah. Not familiar with that one.
Before it was live, because I was trying to find an image of me, like maybe someone's put one out early. No. So
Robert,
now it's overrun.
Robert, do you know how you should call the podcast right now? This episode. Whole lot of chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Banging whole lot of chocolate. Oh God! All right, let's see where we're at in the comments. Or have we completely lost everybody?
Very different. Interesting.
Does anybody want to be famous?
I thought we already are.
Buy followers, primes. What the fuck is primes?
Find the profile of Awaken. They're on SupKings. The hell is SupKings?
It's a store, I think, somewhere in California, maybe.
Why we have Aaron here? Maybe we can ask, hey Aaron, what's coming out after? What can we look forward to over the next few months? Now that the relaunch has gone down, and I know Vasomax is next, but obviously more supplements are coming. Is there anything you can share?
Oh yeah, can you touch base about the Vasomax? Because Shane already shared the profile, but if you're here,
no, I'm super stoked on the Vasomax. I'm almost more excited on the Vasomax than I am on the Hyper. Pretty damn close, because I think the Vasomax formula is really just impressive. Man. So. We use obviously a 3D pump, which I think is obviously an awesome ingredient. We use nitrosogene, we use the Vaso 6, and then we also use the S7. So, and estrogen, we have glutathione in there, which is shown to potentiate citrulline and keep nitric oxide elevated for longer. Pink Himalayan salt for hydration, which will be synergistic with the glycerol from the 3D pump and the taurine. So. Yeah, I'm definitely stoked on that. And honestly, I think the 3D pump is just hasn't been on the market long enough, and I just don't think a lot of people really kind of understand the innovation behind it, because you look at it and you go, all right, well, that's just 3 ingredients mixed together. And if you look at it like that, then that could look not very exciting. But if you actually look into how it works, it's actually really fucking impressive.
When you were making this product, did you consider trying other ingredients instead of using the exact same, I could say, because you used 3D pump in Hypermax as well as S7. Are you not scared that consumers will be a bit disappointed that you are using basically same ingredients in one formula and making it to another one?
No, because I think the 3D pump is super additive. I actually enjoyed it like a ton at 12 grams. And so we did that on purpose. And really, it's just to get that amla extract up to 300 milligrams. Because really, what's super interesting and what's innovative about the 3D pump is the amla extract. And then that combination with the glycerol. That's what makes it like super, super cool. So the amla extract is standardized to 40% lightweight tannins. Umbilicin A, or umbilicin A, umbilicin B, pedruglucanin, and then punuglucanin are the 4 lightweight molecular weight tannins. So if you look at the pilot study, what they did is they gave water, 10 ounces of water. They gave 1.5 grams of Hydromax. They gave the amla extract, and then they gave the amla extract and glycerol together. So what they did is they had these people fast. They're, I think they averaged 28 years old. They were weight-trained individuals. They took 10 ounces of water, and they performed, I think it was leg extensions and goblet squats. Then what they did is they took the circumference of the thigh and measured it. But what they also did is they did a DEXA scan. And so a DEXA scan obviously is basically like an X-ray of muscle tissue. And so in the group that took just the water alone and performed that exercise, the thigh muscle increased by around 300 grams. And so what it's called is hyperemia, basically an increase or an excess of blood held within tissue. So when they perform that exercise, obviously exercise induced hyperemia, you get more blood into the tissue. And so the thigh increased 300 grams. When they took the 1.5 grams of glycerol by itself, it increased 330 grams. When they took the amla extract by itself, it increased to 355 grams. So already right there, we can say that we know this specific lightweight tannin extract amla will outperform 1.5 grams of Hydromax. We know that for sure. Then what they did is they used the amla extract and the glycerol together in combination, and the increase in thigh weight was 560 grams. So if you just drink water and did the exercises, you're going to increase, hyperemia in the thigh by 300 grams. Once you add Hydromax and amla, it's going to be close to 600 grams. There's almost a doubling effect there, which is pretty crazy. But it's not the thigh that impressed me the most. It's total body increase in lean body mass. So again, through that DEXA scan, they were able to basically measure an increase in total lean body mass induced by exercise-induced hyperemia, how much blood got forced into lean body tissue. So in total body tissue, there's an increase by 30 grams in the water-only group. In the glycerol-only group, it was 100 grams. So glycerol by itself, that 1.5 grams, already increased, threefold what nothing alone did. Then the amla group increased, I believe, 150 grams. So again, amla was actually outperformed 1.5 grams of glycerol. But this is where it gets insane. It went from 30 to 100 to 150. You take the amla and the glycerol together, and it was an increase of 700 grams. So it's not a 1 + 1 = 2 sort of thing. It's a 1 + 1 = 7 sort of thing. So the synergism there is really, really crazy. So basically what you're doing is you're increasing, basically making the blood vessel more elastic, the endothelial response. And what that does is obviously allow for more blood flow. And then what glycerol does, which we know, significantly increases plasma volume and blood volume. So what you're basically doing is dilating the blood vessel with amla and then increasing the amount of volume going through that. And that's why you get, like I said, 100 gram increase with glycerol, 150 with amla alone. But the second you combine them, you're at 700 grams. So that's the innovation. The innovation in the patent, if you look at the patent, is just that innovative combination of amla and glycerol. That's it. That's what the patent's on. So then how does citrulline come into play? Well, citrulline comes into play because now you need to deliver this glycerol. Now, Hydromax, Hydroprime, my buddy Marcus, who brought Glycer Pump to the market, we were the first company to bring Glycer Pump to the market. It's all delivered the same way. You're basically spraying glycerol onto silicon dioxide. So silicon dioxide is obviously the excipient, and that's what keeps the glycerol stable. Instead, what they did, which is, again, really innovative, is they sprayed the glycerol onto citrulline. So citrulline now acts as the carrier to glycerol. And what this does is it removes any excipients necessary. So I think that's really what makes the ingredient cool. And if you look at it and you go, oh, well, they just took some citrulline and they took some glycerol and then they took some amla and they put it in a blender and they blended it together. That's not at all, what makes this ingredient cool. What makes this ingredient cool is the synergism, the crazy synergism between the amla and the glycerol, and then finding an innovative way to actually deliver that glycerol in a different format than basically anyone's done before. So I think that's the kind of misunderstanding. And a lot of people go, oh, well, Vaso 6 and is a great ingredient, and it is. Vaso 6 is a great ingredient, but it doesn't have that data. There's not a single study done, to my knowledge, on Vaso 6, and I love it. Anecdotally, it's an awesome ingredient. That's why it's in this product. No study. So at least AMLA has this study, or 3D Pump has this pilot study that shows some pretty significant results in trained healthy humans. And I already know they're setting up for another double-blind, placebo-controlled study against a pretty large dose of citrulline.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I mean, at the end of the day, I think TJ came up with this, and sometimes I agree with it to an extent. Sometimes I don't agree. When he says labels are just labels, because, obviously the synergy between different ingredients are, they can deliver drastic results. But, when you make a stew and you add different ingredients to it to make it for what it is, the different ingredients in a stew, they actually make the stew what it is. On their own, they're not the same. You can't call them the stew. So over here you have 3 ingredients. The 3 ingredients, the study that you just, well, not the study, what you just explained, okay, let's take it for what it is. No problem. I don't have a problem with that. Now let's take the individual ingredients. If I give you 3 ounces of steak and I give you 6 ounces of steak, there's going to be a huge, huge difference between, the 3 ounces and 6 ounces. Obviously, results, amount of protein, etc., etc. So citrulline, everybody likes it 6 grams. There are studies on it. I'm talking about the single ingredient right now. So the 3 grams, they work as well, no doubt about it. But just like you did with Hypermax, you added 3 grams of citrulline. We all know why you did it, and I 100% agree with that, because now you made 6 grams. You have 6 grams of citrulline in your product. And that's a magic number that obviously the consumer likes very, very much. I also know for a fact that 6 grams of citrulline is potentially going to cost you about the same as 3D Pump, because obviously, we know the prices of the ingredients. The glycerol, we even covered it on the final scoop, and Robert said himself, you need about 15 to 20 grams, I believe, to see real results. And at the end of the day, glycerol is just water weight. That's all it is. It's a temporary water weight. And the DEXA test, the DEXA experiment, the more water you're going to add, the more volume you're going to have with glycerol. That's also pretty much a known fact. It's not that hard to impress anyone with that, because that's a given. The Alma, we also know what Alma is. To put them together, there is no doubt about it. Even if we're not talking about, I personally don't like glycerol. I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like for what it is. I just don't like the ingredient for many reasons. And a lot of people don't like it. And, even when we're talking about the requirements to have an actual results, it requires a lot more than 2 or 3 or even 10 grams. But besides that, so you have 3 ingredients. All of them provide pump. To what extent is questionable, but together they obviously deliver results. Nobody would dispute that. Nobody. Besides that, there is also a practical application. I tried 3D Pump on myself, and I obviously saw pump. If I take a placebo and I take 3D Pump, I'm going to see it. I actually talked to Bruce about even using the ingredient, because I think it's a solid ingredient. Now, besides that, if you take 600 milligram of Vaso 6, I experiment with everything before I put it into product. Not only that, I actually discussed it with the guys. I make sure, since I own the gym, I have the luxury of having access to athletes, bodybuilders, powerlifters, and just an average Joe. and we try always like those ingredients as a standalone ingredients. Now, Vaso 6 with 600 milligram, I mean, that's impressive as fuck. It's really, really, really impressive. When you're talking about nitrates, I mean, we already know how they work. They work phenomenal if they dose correctly, of course, but I mean, nobody can dispute that. So saying that this is a good ingredient, it is a good ingredient. Is it overhyped ingredient? It's definitely overhyped ingredient. And you know what? Again, behind the scenes, everybody says it, and I mean everybody. Everybody. They're just not willing to come out and say it maybe out loud, including, I just don't want to mention who he is because then I'm gonna like he's not gonna like it if I mention him right now. So I'm not gonna say it. But I almost said it, but I'm gonna keep quiet. You know, it's definitely overhyped, and you know, and Bruce presented it like I said as the best pump ingredient on the market, but we know it's not. I mean, why should we kid ourselves? Just like we know S7. I mean, we criticized it so many times just on this very podcast, and so many people did. Yes, it's trademark. Yes, it looks pretty cool. Yes, they say there is 230% more pump or whatever they say. You know, I mean, Robert labeled it as dog shit, and we all actually agreed with it. But they trademarks. They cool trademarks. They look very, very cool. Trademarks always look very cool on a label. But do they provide the same effects? No, they don't. I actually, the same thing as I talked to Matt Nickerson last night because we had a discussion about 300 milligram of Vaso 6 and 600 milligram of Vaso 6. And he was the first one to say, yes, it's 600 milligram. And I tried it, and I know it's 600 milligram is the sweet spot, possibly. You know, 900, to be honest with you, I tried too. I didn't see much of a difference. But I'm 100% positive, 100% positive that a combination of 6,000 milligram of citrulline, which is, you know, the sweet spot that everybody likes, combined it with 600 milligram of Vaso 6, of 508 milligram of Vaso Drive AP, which is the dose that Robert likes very much and the ingredient that Robert likes very much, or combine it with something like the nitrates at obviously also a certain dosage, the pumps would blow 3D out of the fucking water. It's not even a question. It's just a fact, you know. I mean, that's my only point is that we all lately everybody's been fixated. Not everybody, but a lot of people been fixated on 3D pump. And I love the logo. I think it's very, very cool. I like the ingredient. I think it's a good ingredient. There are a lot of good ingredients. It's just like I have no idea. Like, I understand people that would use the ingredient. I want to use it myself. But if I was to use the ingredient, I just would not say it that it's the best thing ever because I think there is accountability and people do know what is a good ingredient, what is a great ingredient, what is the best ingredient. We all know that. So I think that this particular formula, I think it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a great formula. And there is no doubt in my mind that 3D pump combined with nitrogen 1500 milligram and Vaso 6, I think it's going to give a great pump. I mean, you have phenomenal ingredients in it. But to be honest with you, to me, if you had the Vaso 6 at 600 milligram and you would have nitrogen at 1500 milligram, even without the 3D pump, I would still be impressed. I would still be very, very much impressed. So it's just like the only thing that bugs me is like, why are we trying to say that this invention is such a breakthrough? I mean, it's a combination of 3 ingredients that are known. They're not innovative. Putting them together, of course, it's going to provide. I mean, Robert said numerous times that I think, Robert, you said that 3-4 grams of citrulline combined with nitrogen 1500 would give great results. Am I correct?
I think it would be cool to see. We haven't had any studies on it, but I mean, we haven't seen anybody use that combination really yet. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 of them, but I want to see like a study like comparing 6 grams of citrulline versus 1500 milligrams of nitrogen versus like a combo of 1500 nitrogen and 3 grams of citrulline.
Absolutely. And you said yourself that 3-4 grams of citrulline, when people say, oh, it's underdosed, you said it yourself. It's not really underdosed. 3 grams of citrulline is acceptable, right? But if you add a good ingredient like Vaso 6, or you include a good ingredient like for example, Unbound, right? Unbound, the pump product, what is it called?
Unbent?
Yes, I think so. So I believe they have citrulline at 4 grams, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you helped formulate it.
Let's see. Unbound.
I think it's a 4 gram, and then they have a bunch of nitrates. I think they have betaine nitrate and possibly arginine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
I actually tried the product, and even considering it's 4 grams of citrulline, that product is fucking amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm pretty sure part of it because of the combination. Oh, and of course it has vasodrive at 508. I mean, the pumps are insane. I mean, I'm going to give props. I think that bare knuckle with 600 milligrams of Vaso-6 and 8 grams of citrulline gives phenomenal pumps, absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, I'm not going to lie, this was just as good. This was absolutely impressive, even with just 4 grams of citrulline. So the synergy and obviously the combination does work. I mean, Lukasz, I think you tried this as well, right?
Best pump product of 2021.
Yeah, I mean, and
Don't start that shit again.
yeah, shut up. But this one is really, really, really impressive. I thought that this was very, very good. And when I'll be the first one to admit, when I saw 4 grams of citrulline, I was somewhat disappointed. But the synergy and the combination with nitrates, I mean, wow, I can't really claim that I have the best pump product because after trying this, maybe overall because I have also focus ingredients and nootropics. So, maybe in that regard. But for pure pump, you know what? If Lukasz would say for real that this is the best pump ingredient, I would not argue with this because I tried it myself. This was very, very impressive to me. As well as Ghost, the 6 grams of citrulline and 3 grams of arginine nitrate. That was really, really good. It surprised the shit out of me between those two.
I praised Robert a few times, and I can say it even online now that what he did with the team from Unbound was great, and as far as not only the pre but the pump, I took it slowly. I stacked it together, and I had that crazy workouts. I had a really, really good session, so I can easily say that Unbound did an amazing job this year. So, yeah, props once again to my Polish brother.
Thanks, man. It was fun to be on the team. I was lucky to be asked to be on it, so it was good times.
But yeah, I mean, going back to 3D Pump, obviously we're well aware of your opinion that you don't find it very impressive. It's just that my opinion completely differs from yours. I'm incredibly impressed by it, and really that pilot study where you have an increase with glycerol at 100 and an increase with amyl at 150, and you combine them and it's 700. That's pretty mind blowing, and that's real data. That's done in trained humans. We don't have that in a lot of the ingredients that you mentioned. And going back to a common ingredient on the market, I mean, Vaso-6 is a green tea extract, right? But what makes that green tea extract special is the fact that it's standardized to specific catechins, right? And that's what makes that amyl extract special, that it's standardized to those 4 lightweight tannins, and those 4 lightweight tannins is kind of the secret sauce. So you could very much equate pretty much exactly what Vaso-6 is doing, which is standardizing a very common extract, green tea extract, which we've all taken before, to very specific components that elicit a very positive benefit. That's a 1-in-1 comparison to exactly what the amyl did. Now, if you want to say, well, I like Vaso-6 more, or I like that green tea extract more than I like that amyl extract, by all means, that's your opinion. But the only thing I can go on is the data. And I don't have the data on that green tea extract. I have a bunch of anecdotal feedback, and that's why we included it, because we loved it. But really, when we say, hey, this is just common ingredient, well, yeah, so is Vaso-6. It's a green tea extract. But what makes it special is that extraction process and what they're standardizing it to. Just like amyl, yeah, that's a common ingredient. Indian gooseberry, I've seen that before. But when you standardize it to those 4 specific tannins, that's what makes it special. And then we have that with the actual data in trained humans that show that when you combine that with glycerol, you're getting an unarguably kind of insane effect. Again, going from 150 milligrams, 100 grams, put them together, get a whole body increase at 700. That's pretty damn incredible. Now, what's interesting though is what if they just launched just that amyl extract and just called that 3D Pump? Would it get more respect? Maybe, because then people wouldn't go, oh, it's just these 3 common ingredients mixed together. They would go, oh, well, that's a very interesting extract. Let me look into that in the same way that I looked into Vaso 6. And then you might go, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. I actually think that AMLA has something going for it because it's, going through the same sort of pathway, endothelial, relaxation. And then maybe you would get a little bit more of its deserved, credit from some people. But yeah, I mean, man, trust me, I tried it. Our whole team tried it by itself for weeks on weeks on weeks, and it was incredibly impressive for me. And that's my opinion on it. And it's not just an opinion. It's not just anecdotal feedback. We actually have some pilot studies and another double-blind placebo-controlled trial kind of in the works. We know this stuff works. There's no doubt about it. It works.
You know what? I never disputed that it works, but maybe just Bruce fucking sent me something that was underdosed, I guess. Because because the thing is that it's funny that when he sent me the sample, at the very same time, I was working on something that is coming out next month. So I had a bunch of other ingredients as well. I had Vaso 6 300 milligram capsules. I had nitrogen, also 1,500 milligram dose from Jack, and I had a bunch of other things. So I tried it on me, and I tried it on people that either athletes or even my employees at the gym. We tried that probably for about 2 or 3 weeks. And while I did take, and I tried everything as a standalone and in combination. That I can tell you, like I tried as a standalone and I tried in combination. I even got some citrulline from X and Sledge because obviously my citrulline is a mix of one of the pre-workouts. I didn't want to do that. So that's the funny thing is that on their own as a standalone product, Vaso 6, Cardia 6 at the time, now it's Self-Flow, and citrulline separately, on a dose of 6 grams, definitely felt like more in terms of pump than 3D pump. And that was pretty much everyone who tried it. Everybody. The only thing that 3D pump beat was nitrogen at 1,500 milligram. That also everybody agreed. So nitrogen came as dead last. I mean, it was like a little something to it, obviously, but it wasn't even close. You got pump on all of those ingredients, without a doubt. Citrulline and Cardia 6 were by far at certain dosage. Cardia 6 at 600 milligram, and Self-Flow, I guess, and citrulline at 6. They were by far number 1 and number 2, respectively. And then. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, there you go. So in a combination as well, so the 3D pump, it's not I'm saying that it doesn't work. I just based on my own study, on my own, not even study, but I would say on my own research and what I did, it didn't come off as, I didn't try nitrates on their own, but it didn't come off as a solid number 1. If it did for you, that's great. I'm not disputing that. And like I said, it's an ingredient that I guess works. But I mean,
I'll give you an example, right?
Can I call a timeout here real quick?
Shane is sweating balls over there. Do you have
Did you take a thermo or something this morning?
Jesus
I had
Christ.
core shred this morning. When I woke up, I was like, you know what? I don't want to have this later, so I have it now. And I'm like, the effect has subsided a bit on me. I'm just sitting here and I'm like, the fuck, man? It's sweating. I'm literally sweating my balls off. Like, look.
Well, no, it's
on.
funny when I saw
this.
you do
at
the
that.
first wipe.
I'm almost at maximum capacity. This doesn't go any further. Fuck.
When I saw you do the first wipe, I was like, that's normal. But then when you've just been doing it the entire time, you're just profusely
Well, I went
sweating.
and wiped my face in the bathroom, and I was like, this should be good. And then it just was like, oh.
some DNT or something, Shane?
do you have the AC on? Do you have the air conditioner on?
No.
They don't have that in New Zealand.
Yeah, I have. Hey man, I have aircon.
Okay, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry, I just had to. Make
Well,
clear
this was
kind
kind of the example that I wanted to give. Across the board, everybody's saying Hypermax 3D has better pumps. That's just it's an agreed upon kind of narrative right now that
Yeah.
the new Hypermax has better pumps than the old Hypermax, and Shane agrees. That was one of the things that Shane said is the new one has way better pumps than the old one. Well, let's just take those two and look at them against each other. The old
But you do have additional 3 grams of citrulline in it.
Well, we'll get to that, right? So we have 6 grams of citrulline, a gram of agmatine, and 300 milligrams of vaso-6, right? So that's the old formula. 6 grams citrulline, 300 milligrams vaso-6, a gram of agmatine. New formula: 6 grams of citrulline, a gram 0.2 of glycerol. So that's replacing the agmatine, and 150 milligrams of amla. There is S7 in there. It's up to you if you think that adds or doesn't make a difference. But if you don't even want to add it in there, you don't want to take those head to head. You're talking 6 grams citrulline, 6 grams citrulline, gram of glycerol, gram of agmatine, 150 milligrams of amla, 300 milligrams of vaso-6, and the new one is significantly better. So if you're comparing those two, it kind of shows that alone shows that the new 3D pump has a more significant effect than the same amount of citrulline, a gram of agmatine, and the vaso-6. And like I said,
I heard that actually from few people that the pumps are better on this one. I didn't hear, including from Shane, that the pumps are significantly better. I heard that the pumps are just better or a little bit better, but I didn't hear significant, because to be significantly would be blowing the old one through the roof. But that's not exactly what I heard, at least for me. But okay. So the 300 milligram of vaso-6, I'm sorry, but to me it feels a little bit underdosed. I just believe in 600. I talked to Matt. He believes in 600. Yesterday, Robert's, what he sent was also 600. So to me, it's always about fully dosing the ingredient. That just me, like I said, would 300 add something? Without a doubt, it would. So perhaps the 3D pump where you have the glycerin and alma, maybe, and I'm not disputing that at all, maybe does feel like a better pump. I mean, not disputing that whatsoever. And maybe S7, I don't think so, but let's say it does contribute like a 2% of something. But at the end of the day, those two are very, very comparable. You still have the size of 6 grams of citrulline. You do have glycerol, which will help with water retention, aka pump, so to speak. Alma, which also obviously contributes without a doubt. So I mean, it's not really surprising or outrageous to see that the pump is better than the previous formula. So yeah, I mean, I would agree with it. I definitely don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I guess that's the point is, vaso-6 is a pretty sought after ingredient, and 300 milligrams is generally, what most people are using. Obviously 600 is an option, but as Matt was behind it.
600 costs more money. That's the reason why people use 300.
Mm-hmm. And so you get this comparison between, citrulline, agmatine, and vaso-6 versus basically head-to-head against 3D pump. It shows the 3D pump's a pretty darn good ingredient, in my opinion.
Oh, it is a good ingredient, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think that that pilot study was incredibly impressive. So, I mean, what do you think, Shane? How much different do you think the pumps were?
I wouldn't say significant, but that's only because I'm saying, like, I'm comparing it to the best pumps I've ever had kind of thing.
Well, I know
as
we were talking about compare it to any pump that you bought from the stim product.
If I'm comparing it to a pump like in a stim pre-workout, then if that's the top end, then yeah, it's a significant jump for me. But like, yeah, I just wouldn't say significant overall because of like the pumps you get from the stim-free thing. They're usually a little bit.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. If you're comparing it against a product that is like a ghost pump, or even comparing Hyper versus a Vaso, Vaso's going to win. But if you're comparing it against any other product that also has a full-on stim profile,
if we're talking pre-workouts alone, then I mean stim pre's, then yeah, I would probably then say significant. Only because most pre-workouts, I don't think I've had a stim pre-workout that's really compared to the pump in a dedicated pump sub.
Yeah.
But on that basis, I would say significant.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the feedback we're getting across the board is pumps are way better. Focus is improved. Energy is basically the same. And that's one thing I was telling Shane in the beginning. we don't want to mess with energy. I mean, this is a daily driver type pre-workout. This is a pre-workout people take every single day. They love it. It's predictable. They know what they're going to get from it. They know they're going to have a solid workout. And so we don't want to mess with that. We want to mess with that as little as possible. What we wanted to do is bring up the weaknesses. And I think we did that. We made the flavor, more improved. We increased the focus and we drastically increased the pump, in my opinion. And so, I think we kind of nailed what we were going after. And I know even Shane said, I was hoping for a little bit more energy, and obviously we can't please everybody, but we have a game plan of what we're trying to accomplish. And I think we hit the nail on the head.
Well, the thing is that I tried, obviously, the previous formula, and I tried this one. And from my perspective, I didn't really pay much attention to the pumps because I don't know. I get pumped pretty much even without pumping, pre-workouts. But that's not it. I look in a pre-workout more for actually focus and energy. That's the most important thing to me. But like I said, I definitely would not dispute the pumps in this product are better. And to be honest and to be fully transparent, from what I heard from people that have used it, they did say that this is an improvement in pump department. I didn't hear significant, but I did hear that it's an improvement. I don't compare my products or your products to other products on the market because there is a pre-workout or 100 pre-workouts that come out on a daily basis. You just cannot keep up with them. There are so many of them, and maybe there is a pre-workout somewhere that blows everybody out of the water. I just don't know about it. So, I mean, that's fair enough to say. But to me, like when I try to come up with the same product or a new version of a product that I've had, to me, my goal is always to improve either on something that I didn't feel I delivered before, or actually go with customers' feedback and listen to them or how they want a certain product to improve. That's how I base, and I try not to compete against, Performax or Inspired or NutraBio or C4. I just kind of try to stay in my own lane, and always the new version of my previous product or the same product that a previous version, I mean, is to improve on a popularity and make it better. When people look at the label, they can see like, oh shit, you know what, this is an improvement. And then obviously the practicality is that when people actually try the product, like for example, to me, besides the customer, obviously, say for example, Robert's opinion, who helped me formulate quite a few of products, his opinion does matter to me. So when he said that leave hooligan as is, I was like, okay, that's good, but we're trying to evolve. I think there is no limit to improvements that we can make, not only as products, but as people as well, as human beings. So when we worked on a formula, I would constantly like send them a little updates and say like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Because his opinion mattered, and obviously I didn't want to reveal to the consumer just like you didn't want to reveal. So for me, it was very, very important that at least it's 10 or 20% better than the previous one. Otherwise, what the fuck is the point? So if we are talking about Hypermax, then in my opinion, your labels, they fucking improved 100%. They just beautiful work of art. And I think that that's a fantastic job. Whoever designed the labels did an absolutely great job. In terms of flavor,
Walton did actually.
Amazing job. In terms of
Robert said something.
Who did you say, Aaron?
Waldrum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a badass with graphics.
Yeah, so it's a great job. And in terms of flavor, not that it matters to me that much, but I think that the flavor definitely improved. I mean, it's actually one of the best tasting pre-workouts that I've tried in recent years. So it's really, really, really an improvement. Now, if we take the pump aspect, I'm going to go with I personally just, pump to me, I'm not saying that it's insignificant. To me, just probably of a less importance, so to speak. But I'm going to go with general feedback of what everyone says, and the pumps have improved as well. Now, in terms of energy, I think that the reason is that the energy and the focus, and that's something that I do remember, are not quite the same. I think that's the minor adjustment is that, but I mean, it's really like it's really insignificant. But to me, the previous Hypermax felt slightly, and I mean slightly, marginally stronger, and maybe a little bit more euphoric than the current one, the new one. And that I attribute only to one thing that I could see based on label and based on my experience, personal experience, is the removal of hordening. That's it's pretty general knowledge that PEA, area durances, and hordening, especially PEA, that definitely the feel is prolonged the effects by using hordening. And based on that theory and based on that and the personal use, I did feel that I'm missing hordening in this formula. That's the pumps are good, the pumps are great, I mean, no doubt about it. The energy, I mean, you get 400 milligram of caffeine, and then you get alpha yohimbi, and you get area durances. You're going to have energy for hours without a doubt. It's just like that lack of hordening, in my opinion, that it maybe by percentage, I like single digits. And that's not a knock. It's just like, but I think it makes it maybe more, like you said, a daily driver, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But that's the only thing.
It's always been a daily driver. I mean, that's what, even TJ has said that it's one of his most predictable pre-workouts that you can take, time and time again. And that does also go down to the 1 to 2 scoop type of setup that we do there. Because I personally only like a scoop and a half, and that puts me right at 300 milligrams caffeine, and that's good for me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think hordening could be a little bit overvalued sometimes. Obviously, I think there's the traditional thought that it's a MAO inhibitor, so it's going to help prolong the effects of phenylethylamines, and I get that. I just don't know that that's how practical that is. I believe that the idea that it even came out as an MAO inhibitor is from a study done in the liver of rats. And that's where it showed that there might be a mechanism for being a monoamine oxidase inhibitor. But really what it is, it's a substrate to be metabolized by MAO, just like phenylethylamine is, just like N-phenethyl-dimethylamine is. So it's a competitive inhibitor. Basically what that means is when you ingest it, monoamine oxidase is going to come and try and break it down. Well, guess what else is an MAO inhibitor? Phenylethylamines itself. And that's why we use such a bolus dose, such a large amount of the beta-phenylethylamine. The beta-phenylethylamine basically, how would you say, kind of takes up a bunch of MAO. And so that
it sacrifices itself,
so to speak, and allows the N-phenethyl-dimethylamine to actually exert its effect. Now, N-phenethyl-dimethylamine found in iriodrensis also has those 2 alkyl groups added to the backbone. So that's already has its own kind of mechanism to stop the breakdown from MAO. So N-phenethyl-dimethylamine is already amazing, the phenylethylamine by itself, and already can kind of not be metabolized by MAO nearly as easily. Then you add in that huge dose of beta-phenylethylamine, which is essentially acting like an MAO inhibitor itself. And that's really the magic between the two. And that's why if you've ever seen us use either iriodrensis or N-phenethyl-dimethylamine, you've always seen it co-administered with a large amount of beta-PEA. And it's that large amount of beta-PEA that's essentially sacrificing itself as a competitive inhibitor, just like hordening, to allow the N-phenethyl-dimethylamine to kind of act a bit longer. They're both dopaminergic. That's what's giving you the good feeling, is the fact that they're releasing dopamine, right? And so that's where the cocobutyrol came in. And N-chloramyl dopamine's largest metabolite that it'll get broken down into is dopamine. And that's why there was an addition of extra tyrosine, right, which we know will convert to L-dopa and then to dopamine. And then the addition of N-chloramyl dopamine, which is basically a dopamine prodrug. Those two are highly synergistic with the phenylethylamines, which also give their good feeling from the release of dopamine. So there's some well thought out strategies here that aren't just like, I got to take this out and put that in, or yada yada yada. There's some back end downstream kind of metabolites and things that are really working together. And I mean, what we can go off of is like consumer feedback, right? So there's this one guy, Paul, on Instagram, and he is like the biggest fan of Hypermax. Anytime someone asks, what's your favorite pre-workout? You always see him, talking about it, Hypermax Extreme. So that would be one of the people, in our customer base. Those are the people that we need to be listening to and kind of feeling what kind of feedback are we getting from this. So his feedback was the flavor was great, which we know. Pumps were intense. I looked bigger, far more vascular. Energy lasted for 6 hours. Focus was much stronger, but it's really pumps, focus, and flavor were the standouts. The energy basically stayed the same. The mood maybe took a seat because of the height and focus, but after I left the gym, I was still feeling happy. And so this is the type of feedback that we want. And kind of going back to our earlier conversation, like whatever Ryan or Shane or, anybody, any of these review people say, like we obviously, we take it in. But at the end of the day, our core fan base, the people actually putting money down to buy the product, that's who we have to listen to. And basically, the only feedback we ever got was we loved energy, we love the focus. It just doesn't have nearly as many pumps. So we had to tweak a few things. We had to make sure that we had an increased dopamine response, like I kind of just explained in how we did that, so that we can keep that focus. We have a good replacement for that hardening, and I honestly don't think that makes a huge difference. And
it doesn't. No, I didn't say it makes a huge difference. I said it makes a little difference.
Yeah.
And I could definitely detect it. And again, I'm not speaking all just me. We heard it actually on this podcast. That it doesn't feel quite the same, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't feel a lot like oh my God, no energy on the focus. No, not at all.
98%, right?
I know that this was a while ago when I purchased PEA capsules. They were 500 milligram each from this company. It's called Gun something. They were actually a small contract manufacturer, but they also were releasing like small items. I got it from them. And I don't know if it was Robert or somebody, but it was like years ago. I took them and I did feel them. I definitely felt them. But I felt them like for 10, 15 minutes at the most. That's all I felt. And then, but I liked the ingredient. I didn't know too much about it. I had to research it. I'll admit, I'm still learning about the business. I'm still learning about ingredients. I'm still doing research. And I'm not going to claim that I know everything but I believe in two things. I believe in theory. I believe in practical aspect as well, practical application. So I remember when I put together a product that had PEA and it had area gerances. And I remember when I sent it to TJ actually to try a sample, and I showed them the supplement facts, and he goes to me, he says, you know what? It would feel a little bit more or a lot more euphoric if you added hordening to it. That was his feedback. I went to the manufacturer and I said, like, you know what, can you add, I don't remember, I think it was 75 milligram or something like that. Can you add more hordening to it? And I tried the product myself. I thought it was good. But once he added that ingredient, I was like, holy shit, there is a difference. There is a difference. There is definitely a difference. And I think that's when I reached out to Robert and I asked about, hordening's, role in all this. And when he explained to me, and then obviously, I read a little bit about it, I tried hordening in other products where it doesn't have the PEA and doesn't have area gerances and stuff like that. And I was like, not a big deal. I mean, I didn't feel much from it either. So it's just like you said, sometimes there is a synergy between certain ingredients that does work. And I think, honestly, that's the only thing that I missed. But to say that it's significantly, less when it comes to energy, I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, this formula is packed with great ingredients. I mean, it does work. And you know what? I mean, regardless whether it's more energy or less energy, it's going to be, such insignificant, field that I doubt many people would notice it. And especially, like you said, when you have added pumps, when you have better flavoring, which does matter. We always say that it doesn't matter, but it does matter in pre-workout too, because the consumer likes something that tastes good. And when you have such great presentation, and improved presentation, I think you have a winner without a doubt. And I think that this is like something where it got lost a little bit in translation, that I think that overall it's definitely an improved formula because you have so many better aspects to this current, to the new formula that you definitely improved upon, that it cannot be disregarded. And like I said, it's obviously a compliment for you and your team.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm really happy with the response, and yeah, it's just been
What was it tough to flavor it? Because I mean, like I said, you did a fantastic job.
That must be
Back
Paul.
sweat.
Are you sweating, Shane?
Look how back sweat, man. Look at this. Like, you see that? Goes the whole way down. Fuck.
It was tough to flavor, but I'll tell you this. I think the biggest thing now that I'm starting to learn when it comes to flavors is actually who you're getting that flavor from. You know, what company you're actually buying the flavor from. That makes a huge difference, because there's tons of different, Carmi flavors, Gold Coast, Pernova. There's 10 different flavor companies that you could buy from. It's finding the right one and maybe being willing to spend a little bit more on flavor that really made the big difference for us. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, obviously there is some finesse, and I don't want to, because there's legitimately like flavor chemists out there, right? Like one of my buddies is a flavor chemist over at Simpson Labs. Like that's what he does. So I don't want to like devalue how much effort can go into creating a flavor profile. But there are very what would it be, like kind of like cookie cutter ways. We know kind of the range of sucralose. We know kind of the range of ACE-K. We know certain types of flavors are going to benefit more from citric acid. Some are going to benefit more from malic acid. And you can kind of, obviously the sour ones are going to have more acid. The fruitier ones are going to have less. So those things, probably don't change a whole lot. I think it's the source of the flavoring material that actually made the biggest difference for us.
Yeah, because the thing is we discuss, when it comes to the product, we discuss the pump, we discuss the focus, we discuss the energy, and everybody has his own fucking reaction or whatnot, an opinion, from good to sometimes even bad. But I think if anyone disputes the extreme achievement or improvement that you've made from the previous to this one, he would be a fucking liar and an idiot. Because I think, to me, you improved the flavor by fucking 200%, and it's definitely impressive.
Yeah, and that's with 650 milligrams of phenylethylamines, essentially, which are obviously very, very bitter and hard to flavor. Just wait until we drop our amino product. That is going to be mind blowing.
Was that like one of you? I mean, obviously you worked on a formula, and that's always comes first. But was this one of your goals, to improve the flavor?
Yeah, I mean the whole goal, like you gotta realize we didn't release anything for, I think, the last quarter of 2019 and throughout all of 2020. Like, this has been an incredibly long process. It's not something that we were able to do in the last 2 or 3 months. We've been working on this for like a year and a half. And so it wasn't even worth it to me to try and put out a new product or a new flavor of this or new flavor. I just said, whatever it is, whatever the brand is right now, let's just leave it there. We'll continue to sell, but let's just go hard and heavy on improving every aspect that we could. So yeah, we went, we worked with Waldron because we know how amazing he is at making labels. We sought out new flavor companies and tested probably 5 or 10 different flavor companies before we even got into actually flavoring. We picked up new raw material suppliers that you can kind of trace back to, because I know that's one thing too. It's like, it's one thing to say like, oh, trademark ingredients are aren't that special, but the one cool thing is who we're getting it from if we have a trademark ingredient. Whereas sometimes it could be this ingredient, but you don't know where it came from or who made it. You just see that on the label. So I think that's part of why we tried to do that too, because it's very traceable that we're using quality ingredients, because exactly where they're coming from. You can go and ask for a sample of that ingredient yourself. So yeah, formulation, ingredient quality, flavoring systems, and packaging were the main things that we really wanted to bring up. And I think we pretty much nailed it across the board. Obviously, we have some more products that we need to get to market, but with what you've seen so far, just between hyper and vaso, and then the flavors, I think it. We're basically proving that we were doing what we set out to do.
Also, you said that listen to the customers because they buy the products. I fucking bought a product before, just so you know. I
you
bought
didn't.
some Hypermax. Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. This is the way you treat your
he goes-
customers.
He goes, send me an Alpha Max and a Max Max. I said, okay, yeah, I can do that. So how many are you going to send? I'm like,
man.
I don't know. Like, shit, Shane.
Greedy
Hey,
bastard.
Shane.
That was
Wow.
what, this week.
That's
Now-
not cool.
now-
That's
now
not
you know-
cool.
Now you know why we're in that second spot.
No. Oh,
Well,
you,
hey, Shane, I'm sure you're going to get a nice
Whoa.
gourmet designer box because I'm just going to get something that's been rolled over 6 times and held together with a pound and a half.
Nah,
of duct
dude,
tape.
Actually, Shane has an Instagram, so yeah, he's definitely getting a box.
I didn't get a box.
Aaron, that's called extortion.
Either way,
No one
I
watches
bought-
this anyways.
I've-
Don't worry.
I've bought Hypermax. Eat a
Really?
dick. I bought it.
Yeah,
Yes, I have.
right.
I have.
$5
Several-
donation. Thank you, Brooke. Anger therapy. Donation towards anger therapy, nootropics,
Need a
gold
fucking
toilets, and
Need
whole
a
lot
donation
of
to a,
chocolate.
to a sweat towel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, need a-
Thank you, Brooke.
This donation is probably towards Shane's aircon.
Yeah.
I have aircon.
Brooke, especially for you.
I know where you're going with that comment. I wish I knew. Yeah, guys, now that we've kind of gotten through like the main talking points of the podcast, feel free to like blow up the comment section. We've got some that we need to go through, but feel free to throw any other questions.
this.
It doesn't have to be
It's gone
about
further.
strictly Performax or Apollon products. It could be about anything, but keep it going because we haven't asked Aaron the most important question yet. Chocolate covered shit or shit covered chocolate?
Don't answer that.
No. You're saying chocolate flavored.
Oh yeah, there we go. Chocolate
Yeah.
flavored shit or shit flavored chocolate?
Because either way, in your scenario, you're eating shit. It's chocolate flavored shit or shit flavored chocolate. Which would you eat? It's very clearly.
I just can't take Shane seriously.
What do you mean? Is it because of the sweat?
You
It's
probably,
pretty intense.
you guys would probably get more viewers if you didn't bring these types of questions up.
Wait, you say if we bought these questions up or we didn't?
We didn't.
No, you didn't.
I disagree. Continue.
Alright.
Answer the question.
All right, next question.
No. It's chocolate flavored. It's chocolate flavored shit.
Put the fucking next thing back up. Jesus Christ.
It's JoJo. Double Impact was a nice ride. Did 12 sets of leg press with top sipping.
No,
10
what are we
plates on
doing?
each side.
He didn't say anything.
That's
This is-
impressive.
We invited you onto the podcast. I buy your products. Okay. The least you could
see
do.
how the whole entire feed almost went down because of you, Shane. Just
The
shut
least
up
you
and
could
let's move on to
do
the next fucking
is
thing.
tell me whether or not you would eat shit flavored chocolate or chocolate flavored shit.
Now, if you answer that question, it's going to hurt your sales. Don't answer it.
No.
Just say A or B. Just say A or B. We can make it easier.
All right.
If you don't say anything, it's chocolate flavored shit because that's the smart answer. And I believe you're a smart man.
He's literally eating something as we speak, and I'm not picturing him eating shit now.
Oh man.
You guys are a weird bunch.
We embrace that as much as possible.
Yeah, I can tell.
We're not weird. Because we're
Aaron, I think he's just getting back at you for the fact that he was buying your products.
Yeah.
collectively we're weird. So technically, the odd one out is the normal person. So
Yeah.
arguably, we're not that bad. I think
Yeah.
you might be a bit weird, Aaron. I think you might be.
This is the most animated I have ever seen Shane.
Yeah.
Because I've
This is
been
the-
sitting here sweating my balls off for the last hour while you guys discuss ingredients and supplements, and I'm just sitting here drinking water and fucking drying
waiting-
myself.
Waiting for your moment to make your mark.
Raymond, thank you for the $2 donation.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wait, what?
They've walked that many miles in their lives.
Don't you still have that button, Lucas? Why are you making it the sounds with your mouth now?
Because Mama's
Bro.
sleeping now. We don't want to wake her up.
One
my
more.
face.
Now I'm just like hungry.
This is a good question. It's something we were talking on earlier, and Justin brings it up. And I think this should be something like the marketers behind 3D Pump need to look into. Why wasn't the specific extract in amla used as a single ingredient for 3D Pump like Vaso 6? What's the need to add citrulline glycerol? But
So
the way you were saying is that
just-
they spray the citrulline onto the glycerol, so it's almost like one
Other ways.
compound now. It's not.
Other way,
Glycerol
yeah.
onto citrulline, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
citrulline
yeah.
sprayed onto the glycerol.
Well, the reason is because the amla extract by itself is obviously a great ingredient, and like we had talked about earlier, you could compare it to something like Vaso 6, where you have a kind of common ingredient that has a very specific standardization for specific tannins, which I mentioned earlier, umbilica A, umbilican B, and pedun, gluglagin, and hunugluconin, I think, were the four.
Say those real quick, Shane.
I know it's difficult.
Hey, Aaron, by the way,
Pineapples.
are you also into like other Ayurveda, type of herbals ingredients, and you maybe are like open for adding them to upcoming formulas?
About open to herbal ingredients?
Yeah, but in particularly the Ayurveda stuff, because like as you probably know, amla, triphala, and brahmi, for example, these all ingredients are like from Ayurveda. So
Yeah,
they're like,
well, a lot of the ingredients we use are either from that or from TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. Like the Actra extract in Mass, I think is traditionally used in TCM. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the ingredients we have now kind of are derived from some sort of kind of like folk medicine application that we then looked into and actually studied, and then found out, wow, there's some real applicable applications. So yeah, no, obviously we're always open to looking for what's new, but I think going back to Justin's question, it's really the combination of amla and glycerol that's the innovation. The citrulline is like, you can take that out, you can put that in, doesn't really matter. The citrulline is just a carrier. They could have just sprayed it onto silicon dioxide, you know what I mean? And then maybe it would have gotten a little bit less flack for being, too common. But it's really that combination. And the reason that it's not sold by itself and it's sold with the glycerol in combination is because that crazy synergism. Again, I mean, maybe you guys aren't like as impressed, but my mind was blown when I looked at the numbers and the difference between amla by itself, between glycerol by itself, and then the combination. I mean, even if you looked at the thigh diameter, when they drank water, there was a 1 centimeter increase in the circumference, I should say, of the thigh. When they took 1.5 grams of glycerol, it was like 1.3 centimeter increase. When they took the amla by itself, it was like 1.6 centimeter increase, right? So could it be sold by itself? Yeah, 1.6. It's already beating out 1.5 grams of glycerol, which is a pretty common ingredient for pumps in formulas nowadays. So sold by itself, it's already beating some popular ingredients. But when you looked at the combination, it was a 2.2 increase in circumference of the thigh. So there's clearly some synergism between using the amla and the glycerol together, and that's why it's not sold by itself. It could be sold by itself, that specific extract, but the magic happens when you do that combination. And we know that glycerol increases plasma volume. There's studies done on it. It's banned by WADA because WADA bans it not really for performance enhancement. WADA banned glycerol because you can try and use it to hide blood doping. The amount of hemocrit and other ingredients, like hemoglobin, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
WADA's thought process was that if you took enough glycerol, you could increase plasma and blood volume enough to lower the percentages of those biomarkers, and that's how you could actually hide blood doping. So, we know that glycerol works to some degree, and we know that amla works to some degree. The cool thing was just those in combination. So that's the only reason I think it wasn't sold individually. It was because the pilot study showed that they're highly synergistic when taken together,
Sridhar, did they compare Vaso 6 versus Vaso Dry versus 3D Pump in their study? No.
No.
Shouldn't the study comparison be with the best pump ingredients available? That may come eventually, but the way most studies done is like you do the mechanistic data on cells, then you progress it to rats, then you go to like the single ingredient to determine its efficacy in healthy human subjects. Then the next step would be if they get that far and they wanted to have the funding for it, the availability, the time, and all that.
Well, yeah,
then they would go to compare it to other stuff.
The pilot study is just a proof of concept.
Right,
It's
yeah,
just like,
exactly.
does this work? Like, this is what we think is going to happen on paper. We know that this is, creates a tremendous vasorelaxation. So that should dilate the blood vessel. We know this increases blood and plasma volume. So that should have a 1 + 1 = 3 kind of thing. Let's see if this freaking works. And that's all the pilot study was just the proof of concept. But no, there's definitely a double-blind, placebo-controlled study in the works compared against a bolus dose of citrulline. So we'll see. We'll see if this beats out a massive dose of citrulline or not.
Yeah. And the next thing would be to have an independent party do it, not the guys that are behind it running it in their lab. If it ever gets that far.
Yeah.
And then we pause this brief interruption.
Yeah. Literally. Well, actually, I mean, yeah, they're pretty swampy.
Brooke, when are you going to be the next guest on the Final Scoop? Next guest. When Sweaty Shane eats his weight in carbs. That would be a fun one. We'll take the core, burn, shred, whatever the hell you took today, Shane, and then eat, however much you weigh, 200, you said?
I had a cheat meal on Wednesday. I had this discussion with my wife. I had my cheat meal on Wednesday.
Such
Probably,
an odd
I think
cheat meal. $100 on McDonald's.
I'm glad you saw that.
Like you couldn't just go out and get like a really like nice pizza or like some high-end cheeseburgers or something.
You're new to this conversation.
Whoa.
You are new to this
Whoa. I don't know if you saw this, but I got
trumps everything for Shane.
I got the Mega Mac, and that's as premium cheeseburgers you're gonna get. Okay.
Oh my god.
And
I retract my statement. Forgive me.
Yeah, I thought so. And so I weighed in at 94.1 kilos in the morning, which you figure that out in pounds. The next day after McDonald's, I was 97.6. I gained 3.5 fucking kilos from eating McDonald's that day. And I know that it's water weight and probably it's going to be off soon. It's not off completely yet. But it was a 3.5 kilo leap. What's that, like fucking 8 pounds or some shit?
Yeah, 91 kilos is 201 pounds. What was your ending weight?
No, it was 94.1.
Oh, 94.1.
Was what I started at.
Okay.
Yes. And then I ended at 97.6. The day after the epicness.
So that's 8 pounds. Yeah, you gained.
Yeah.
Damn.
The fuck? And I felt like shit, but was it worth it? So worth it.
$100
Whether or
on
not
McDonald's.
you think my cheeseburgers were shit, they were delicious. And they were premium as fuck because I got them Uber Eats delivered them, and nothing's more premium than someone bringing you your food. Okay,
So 100 New Zealand dollars is 70. So you spent $70 on your cheat meal at McDonald's.
Well, if we want to get specific, it was
Like
109.
104 or 108. Yeah, they had to.
And then you got
too.
and then you got to add the donuts. I got half a dozen Dunkin' Donuts.
Jesus.
That's how you
was
put
good.
on quality. That's how you put on quality muscle.
There you go.
It is.
With the bottles of free bottles of Alpha Max and Mass Max that you
I haven't
got.
started the Master Max and Alpha Max. He didn't put it on priority shipping. That arrived a little few days later.
Brooke, I feel like you think Shane is classy with his food choices. Decor, yes, gold sinks, see? But food, not so much. Very, very true.
Subjective. It's subjective. Okay. I'm still waiting for Aaron to answer the chocolate shit question, but apparently it's he'll dig into the depths of science and studies, but won't answer a simple question.
What would be your ideal meal? All right, this will be the last call for any comments, off the wall questions, whatever you guys have to throw for us that are listening. What's your favorite cheat meal, Aaron? Or do you ever have them? Do you enjoy them? Do you see the need for them or desire them? Or you just kind of say, I'm going to fit everything into my daily diet?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not strict enough to say that I have cheat meals right now. Like I have like a meal plan that I eat Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday I'm pretty loose. But
Do you eat McDonald's?
what's that?
Do you eat McDonald's?
No,
What?
don't eat McDonald's. Not at all.
Actually,
Actually,
we get sponsored by McDonald's.
Not at all.
not at all. You know, well, I probably haven't had any McDonald's like anything from their day menu in probably 10 to 12 years.
The fuck is wrong with you?
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah, it's just fucking terrible food. It's just really
Okay,
bad.
wait. Do you go to like a similar thing, like I don't know, Burger King or
No fast food.
I just don't do it that often, no.
Yeah, but
We used to, like on Saturday afternoons, we used to go out on the pontoon boat with my uncle, and when we would come back, we would hit up a Sonic on the way home, or like Cane's chicken fingers and French fries or something. That was like you're drunk after being on a party boat all day.
I'll eat in and out. I mean, I still don't eat it often. Maybe
same bloody thing?
No.
Yes.
It's not even close.
No, but like same category, like it's fast burgers.
Kinda.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fast, but it's not the same.
Yeah, they don't even freeze their meat. That's why they're so limited by where they can even open locations, because it has to be close enough to the hub where the meat is fresh. So
Okay, either way. So you do the burgers.
oh,
I had a burger yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't a burger. It
Robert,
wasn't
you don't count. You probably made your own burger.
Yesterday I actually
There's
did.
probably just lettuce and tomato anyway. Who the fuck cares?
Fuck off. No, we were at a little bar and grill place before we went to go pick up the halfling from daycare. Same
Okay.
Yeah, but it's still high quality.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, if someone's gonna go make it in a kitchen, like not that McDonald's doesn't have a kitchen, but
Yeah.
you know, they go it's like a chef and everything. That's high end. That's premium.
Well, even on the menu it says
It's
everything
little
here is homemade. So if we're a little bit slower, it's the quality and the works. It's what it
doesn't
says on the
count.
bottom of their menu.
You're not gonna go buy like 5 burgers from that restaurant, are you?
No. And the fries
But you
suck.
will probably-
I'll
you might
take
do
McDonald's
that.
fries every day of the week over those fries. Those fries were not good.
But you might do that at McDonald's or In-N-Out, so yeah.
Wait, let Aaron answer. Like, what is your ideal cheat meal? Forget about what they say.
Sushi. I'll put down I'll put down a ton of sushi. And so I don't do a lot of rolls. I just buy a shit ton of nigiri. So, tuna, albacore, escalar, mackerel, toro, which is like the bottom belly, the fat part of the tuna.
Yeah,
There's like
tuna.
there's toro, there's like mid toro. What else? King scallop. Me and my wife will end up ordering probably like 12 or 15 different nigiris.
Okay, nigiris. I thought you were going to do like 12 or 15 rolls. I went, son of a bitch.
No,
that's a lot of
like
rolls.
we don't really eat any rolls at all. I mean, it's pretty much because once you get into a roll, it's basically that fake crab with a little bit of some quality fish, and then they cover it in some of the eel sauce and all that shit. So we just generally just do a bunch of nigiri.
Aaron, you have a good supplement line. You have a good taste. You're very intelligent, but you absolutely fucking suck at cheat meals.
I was gonna say, man, that's you're a fancy bitch. That's
Or that.
that's
He's in
sushi for
California.
cheap
They
meal?
have to be fancy.
Yeah.
No, I like sushi, but fuck, he doesn't even have rolls. He has nigiri. I mean, fuck, that's not even a cheat.
But a lot of dude, you know that toro too, like the 2 pieces of nigiri from toro come out to like $20. It's crazy expensive, but it's so delicious. It's almost like a stick of
It's
butter.
good.
It just like melts in your mouth. So
That's the key to a good cheat meal. It's not expensive, but you make it expensive. That's what a good cheat meal is.
Oh man. No, I've definitely dropped like $250 on a sushi dinner before.
I believe that,
Yeah.
You know what? Next time I see you, whether it be the Arnold Olympia, we're gonna have a business meeting at McDonald's, okay? Just so you know.
I would not let anybody catch me in McDonald's.
It's okay. You're not gonna see any of your friends there anyway. I'm pretty sure no one's gonna recognize you.
I'll keep my mask on.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Ginger
I'll
averages
you know what?
13
I'll
rolls of
pay as
sushi.
well.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
man.
really going out on a limb there, Shane.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Aaron brings some products. He's gonna pay for them too.
I know. Hey, I'll pay for it, but can you bring me a few bottles? Like, these bottles are worth more than this $10 Mickey D's meal. Yeah, but I said I'd pay.
Brooke, I can't actually remember any time I have fast food. I don't even eat out. I'm a simple person. Yeah, that's me most of these days now. Yesterday was an exception. Alex, I usually had McNuggets before my leg days, and I end up hitting some PRs on squats. Something about those McNuggets. Only the boots. The boots have the magical power.
You know what?
The
You know
other
what,
shapes,
Aaron?
forget those.
Hypermax V8. You need to put McNugget extract. Just
Pulverized McNugget innards.
maybe just for the flavoring, just like sprinkle it throughout.
McNugget inclusions.
I don't know if you get away with the collaboration. I feel like they might hit you up, but yeah, that'd be funny.
I'll look into it.
McNuggets are delicious. Put it in the protein powder. There you go.
Are there any new flavors coming out for the protein powder, Aaron? Because they already have the ISO Whey Max. Are there any new flavors in development too as part of the rebrand?
Chocolate and vanilla are staying the same. We've dramatically improved the cinnamon toast crunch type flavor. I should say cinnamon cereal flavor. And then we have a fourth flavor that we're going to launch right after that.
Okay. Did you get all that, Shane?
I didn't get the fourth one.
It's McNugget flavored.
You didn't. Don't. I feel like that would kill, but you'd probably get sued pretty quickly.
Aaron, you just won the best tasting protein of the year.
Yeah,
I didn't say that.
2021.
I don't know if you putting McNuggets and protein powder is going to taste good. I should be cool. I don't think it's going to taste good.
We'll try it out.
I like to eat my McNuggets. I don't know if I like to drink them.
We'll see.
Sure. One
Chunks of
time
nugget.
ate 8 Baconators with only one set of buns from Wendy's and 20 nuggets and 2 large fries.
Damn.
So you had like 18 meat patties and one only like a top and a bottom bun? Is that how it works? How many patties are on a Baconator?
2, I believe. I think 2 and 3.
Okay, so 16 or 18 patties.
It's a lot.
The gluttony of America. There you go. With all the bacon.
We've only got probably half here.
You get half a Baconator? You got 2 slices of your ration, 2 slices of bacon and one of that.
My McDonald's was what, $100, but I guarantee you it's probably would have cost me like $30 in the US.
Yes, there you go. All right, gentlemen, we've reached through the end of the comments. Aaron, any other closing words? First off, thank you for carving out 2+ hours of your day and going through the meat grinder. We've put a lot of products, brands, and people under the microscope, and you're one of the few people that has willingly said to come on the podcast and say everything. So we much appreciate it.
You didn't say everything.
What do you mean?
You didn't answer the fucking question.
Robert,
wait, I haven't started the spiel yet.
Robert, if you would have just hurried this up, I could have got out of here without having to answer. No,
you can save it for offline.
No, I appreciate it, and I just wanted to get on and answer any questions and kind of, just kind of explain what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish and all that good stuff. So you guys had me on before, and I wanted to come on again, and obviously had a great time. So.
But you know what? I think that what Robert said is very, very important. I kind of didn't even think about it. Number one is the fact that, again, nobody criticized or nobody, attacked because it's a great product. But the most important thing, because there were some questions and stuff like that kind of arose last week and in general, for you to come on here and, and explain and talk to us about it and stuff like that, that definitely commands respect. So yeah, thank you very much. It's really, really cool of you. I think that's that takes a lot, because we typically discuss products and whatnot, and nobody would do that.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too, is maybe even from the public's perspective, they can infer, things on the previous podcasts and stuff like that. And so, Robert, I've met you at the Olympia. Know you're a great guy, and obviously everyone else is a great guy. So, my main thing was like, hey, let's get on there and show there's not actually any issues here, and we're actually all pretty
100%
here. So I thought that was kind of my intention on coming here and on here is if there's any misconceptions that there was any issues between us and you guys at all.
Absolutely not.
That there wasn't, and
No.
we obviously appreciate you guys. Just not saying very much, but
There might be soon, since you haven't answered the fucking question. No one watches this. You said, who cares?
Aaron, I have a suggestion. Next week, come on the show and please explain yourself why you didn't answer the fucking question.
Yeah. Well, we'll
you know what? Next time you send me a
reason to come on again.
Next time you send me something, if you ever send me something again, slip a little note in there. Just write it on a post-it. Just be like chocolate flavored, and I'll be like, I won't even share it. I'll just keep it to myself.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Damn, he doesn't
It's
let
because
it go.
I've had it. It's because it's an extra hour. I haven't just woken up. This is what happens.
Class act, Aaron, all the way around. Definitely class act.
Sweating my dick off.
Handled the rage of Robbie super well. Stream started off intense, but it evened out. Loved every second. And oh wait, Shane, you may have offended our listeners. Did you just call Brooke a nobody?
Ooh.
She's putting food on your table right now. That's just $5. That's putting.
Yeah, she just bought you a brand new aircon.
This is in Poland, man. Things aren't that cheap. Okay.
Where's that
Sorry,
button? This
Sorry,
sound
Lucas.
needs to happen right now.
All right, Shane, you get to do the outro.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Don't put any effort into it though. It's like, calm down a little bit, Shane. Jesus Christ.
And use the code Final Scoop for a
Fat.
discount at apollonnutrition.com.
And
Oh wait, and leave a review on your local podcast to get us up in the algorithms, which controls our lives.
Because all the jisms are looking for us.
Yes. Is that good enough?
I think so.
The lack of effort comes from the lack of answering of my question.
And don't forget to follow Aaron on his social media as well as Stack3D on podcast.
Yeah. To be fair, it wasn't even me who brought up the question anyway. I was the one who reminded us all of the chocolate flavored shit and shit flavored chocolate. That was Robert.
and
subscribe to the Stack 3D podcast.
And who wins the Arnold?
I mean, it looks like Nick, is it not?
You know what? I think, like, based on photos that I see, to be honest with you, and you can laugh all you want, I see him as a possibility to win the Olympia.
My
I
money.
think the politics are going to play in a way, and there's no way he's going to win it. I mean, he's going to be in the running, but he's so young, they're not going to give it to the first-time pro.
My money is on Nick.
For the Arnold or for the Olympia?
Or the Arnold. Or the Olympia.
I don't know about the Olympia. He hasn't stood. He hasn't really like. He stood next to
Still-
those guys,
it's still-
but like.
it's still a bit more time for the Olympia. So let's focus on Arnold first.
Damn, he looks very, very impressive. And Shane, by the way, Dan Hooker, he made it to the States. He's
He
fighting.
did make it, yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting.
We came out of lockdown and he got his shit approved and he made it. Good on him. Israel
Oh, I didn't put
Adesanya
two together.
wasn't
You had
happy.
McDonald's. Okay, y'all are finally allowed to be free again. Forgot about that.
Forgive moist Shane. Ooh,
Not
isn't that the word that people don't like? Moist.
moist.
Apparently,
I
people
like
Some
the
people don't
word.
like the word. Some people don't like the word moist.
I like
My
the
wife
word.
doesn't like the word moist.
Your wife
Probably
doesn't.
shouldn't say that out loud.
Well, if we go by your logic, she's never going to hear this anyway, so it's okay. You can say whatever you want
Man,
to
she
about your
fucking
wife.
listens. She listens. She's probably listening right now. She might even comment. But she listens.
Nikki, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm that dictates anything into everything to which we are exposed these days.
She doesn't need to do. She doesn't need to subscribe.
She does. She needs.
She's
to.
reminded when my alarm goes off.
How you always nails the this entire thing, this entire formula, the algorithm. What the fuck?
He's got it written down.
No, I don't. There is nothing written down here. Can I even show you with this? Let me see if I can pull this off. Let me show you what's actually on. How does the fuck does this thing come off?
That's the roof, Robert.
No
one wants to
shit,
do the
no,
roof.
that's-
Dude, you are always on point while we are always scrapping.
This is all that's going on right here.
It's because when we cook our meat and eat our burgers, and
There's nothing on here.
he's picking the vegetables out of his garden. He's reciting his closeout speech.
Shane,
No, it's just I don't know, like those kind of little intro things and alliterations and stuff like that. They're just come easy to me. I mean, come on, I'm a
What'd
fucking
you say,
engineer.
Aaron?
I said you don't cook anything. Don't lie.
I'm the fucking engineer. Come on,
I cook shit
I can do this
just
stuff in
as
my
much
sleep.
as I buy products from high.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I do.
Never.
I need to fucking find. I need to find my receipt.
Yeah.
I need to find it because I have bought it. I don't know
Oh,
which
here.
version. We're going back a few years.
Aaron was a guest. Aaron, who should we have on as the next guest for the show?
After this,
I know. Somebody who's going to answer the question that Aaron refused.
Chris Waldron would answer it.
There we go. All right, next guest, we're gonna get Chris Waldron on.
yeah, let's see if he gets on after watching this.
No, he's not going to get on.
He's done 3 or 4 podcasts with me. He'll get on. He's up for this.
He's a loose dude.
He is,
He's
but
a loose dude.
he would hang with us.
I told you the story when I was meant to have a meeting with him at the Arnold. I stayed until Saturday night. He's like, I'll meet you at so-and-so at 7 or 8. And I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for him to reply. And I was like, are you still going? Are you still going? He didn't reply. I called him. He didn't answer. I caught my flight the next morning at 7 a.m. Motherfucker was on the same flight as me. And I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, good to see you. And I was like, yeah. You forgot about our meeting last night? And he was just like, oh, yeah. And I was like, the fuck were you doing? He's like, I just went out all night and partied. I fucking see him at the airport. So I don't make meetings with him anymore. I just
Well, to
wait
be
until
fair, all right. In his defense, he's never missed a meeting with me, so maybe that says something. Order of priorities. No, we'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
You
I
already
just
know
ran
who I
into
want
him.
the next guest to be. Brooke, you want to be the next guest? You're due.
Yeah, let's
You're
get-
due, Brooke.
Let's get Brooke on board.
I
Me
think
too.
we should try and get Arnold Schwarzenegger on, maybe. Or The Rock.
Oh no.
Aim higher, guys. Aim high.
Sylvester
They're not
Stallone.
doing anything. It's Saturday afternoon.
True.
They could spare 2.5 hours to talk about shit.
I'd like to see Robbie and McGregor go back and forth. I think that'd be fun. I think that.
Oh shit!
Verbal sparring on that.
I'll
That'd be
skip
right.
that episode.
Yeah, I like him.
All right, everyone. Thank you all for hanging with us, Aaron. Thanks again, man. We really appreciate it. Y'all have a good week, and we'll catch you next time on the Final Scoop.
Thank you guys.